podcast is intended for mature audiences. The views and opinions expressed are those of the panelists and do not reflect in any way those of the podcast partners, sponsors, or affiliates. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Michael Buffer, and you're listening to the Voice of the People. Let's get ready for Boxing Voice.
Sky's the limit, baby.
BoxingVoice.com.
We don't fight for rings and stuff like that. I don't fear anyone. We don't come to play in this sport. I fear no one in this sport.
Does that mean that you will fight Triple G later this year?
Como lo dije en la pelea pasada, ahorita mismo me vuelvo a poner los guantes.
As I said in the last fight, right now I'll put on the gloves again.
¡Viva México!
Canelo wants to unify all the titles.
When did you realize, Andy, that you could take his power?
Because of the Mexican warrior that I am, I got that Mexican blood in me. So, talking about the Mexican style, I just proved it.
BoxingVoice.com.
Ain't no other sight in the game to see the Boxing Voice.
What up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Sunday edition, Crow edition. We finally got some live fights that we could have previewed, maybe even predicted. Hopefully you made your pick. We'll just discuss Joe Joyce being back in action and things like that. But I know Mario wanted to do things differently, Mario, so does that include everything?
Well, if you go and look at the thing, it plays it all out. Just read it down a row, and it'll give you a guided. But I'll explain it real quick. So the difference between most shows and this show is we're going to introduce topics in a different way, and we're also going to hold each other to the time limits. You know, if you look, we got an intro, 1 minute each host to just talk about the Joe Joyce. Then Joe Joyce, Daniel DuBois, who wins, 1 minute per host, 2 minute final thoughts. I have spots in there for rebuttals where I thought that rebuttals would work. So, yeah, you take it over, champ.
So we're going cold turkey right into Joe Joyce defeating Michael Wallisch, or no? Is it?
Yeah, but we can still do the intro and stuff like we normally do. This is just like the notes and topics.
I thought you wanted to eliminate that. Remember we said
I do, but I'm not gonna get. We're not gonna do that. We
might as well
tomorrow.
eliminate it today, champ. We already.
All right.
Me and you already talking. Yeah, man. We going. This is a cold start, new start. Mitty, what up? Doomy, what up? Y'all need haircuts.
Hadouken!
Y'all looking overgrown over there. Overgrown over there. What's going on? Y'all need some cuts.
What the fuck
next week, baby. Next week.
Everybody see the fight first and foremost.
Which
Everybody
one?
can
Joe
talk
Joyce? Joe Joyce? Absolutely. So I guess we get a minute each. Let's start off with the UK guy, right? Why not?
I am the unified heavyweight champion.
Yo, so according to Mario, you get 1 minuto to discuss your Joe Joyce versus, is it Wallisch or Wallisch?
I thought it was with a V now. Now we do the
Wallisch. Okay, so Wallisch, like he's walking a dog on a leash. Wallisch. All right. All right, so I'm going to get him ring this bell, man. You got a minute. Tell us. Talk to us.
All right, man. We all know what it was. It was Joe Joyce having a tune-up fight against Michael Wallisch. The fight wasn't bad for me. Like, you know, you got to see like Joe Joyce like do his thing for 3 rounds. You're gonna have the same people coming with the same thing all the time. Like Joe Joyce is slow, Joe Joyce is that. But Joe Joyce always get the job done. Always finishes the job early as well. So that was like a normal performance. I do agree to a certain extent that, you know, I'd like to see him like a bit better with his defense, and he's trusting his chin a bit too much, but it's working for him so far. Like I said, it is what it is. Like the opponent wasn't the greatest caliber, but it wasn't a complete like walkover. He tried to do a few things. He tried to throw a few right hands in there, and he tried to upset the uppercut, right? So... But, yeah, Joe Joyce ultimately gets...
Almost still within the minute time frame. Let's see if Doomy got it. Doomy, what you think of your boy, the Juggernaut?
Yo, he's straight. He demolished. He was a wrecking ball. He demolished Wallisch, the Juggernaut. You know, the only complaint I got about the Juggernaut sometimes is that he is a little slow. But at the same time, every shot he lands, it's literally a power shot. The way he was able to put Wallisch down with the body shot, just shows me that he's versatile. He can change levels, go from the head to the body, back to the head, and the combination punching is a lot of fun to watch. Joe Joyce fight. I've been real big on Joe Joyce versus DuBois, and I got Joe Joyce versus DuBois. But after seeing him in this fight, I just feel like
Joe Joyce versus DuBois. We all got Joe Joyce versus DuBois. Who do you actually have winning?
No, I know. I said I got Joe Joyce versus DuBois. So I see that Joe Joyce, even though he's slow,
oh, you cut it, man. Keep it to yourself, champ. Stay within the time limit. Let me get Mario on. He made this up. Maybe he could do it. Let's see, Mario. What up?
Yo, listen, it was a pretty good event. I had a hurricane in the background, so it was kind of distracting, but I did get to go back and look at the Joe Joyce fight. I'm sorry, I didn't know Wallisch coming in, and he didn't impress anything about it. For me, this was a walking stiff. There was no competition. Joe Joyce, for me, has always been the guy that I felt would beat Daniel DuBois, and I still feel that way. But he is super, super slow. He looked like he was throwing in sand yesterday. He looked like he was in quicksand. He is the devastating puncher. You saw with that body shot. But overall, I thought it was a really good event. I like the fact that it looked like the top rank setup, but it was much smaller. So it felt cozier and nicer and neater. It gave it like an overall better presence on television. It just seemed like it was a kind of place where the crowd wasn't missing. But overall, I think Joe Joyce had to do what he had to do. He went in there, he beat a stiff, but he didn't go beyond and above to impress me. But I think when you have an opponent like that and you're the A side, it's really hard to do sometimes.
Oh, he practiced, y'all. Actually, I should have rung the bell. He was 7 seconds over. I should have rung the bell. I was busy doing other.
Oh man, I really thought I was gonna have like 5 seconds left.
Nah, you had 7 seconds over.
It's normal. It look better, man. We know what we're doing here in the UK. When we put on events, you're always saying it looks better on our side, man. So
I don't know, man. Before I start my minute, I'll say we need 11 brave souls that want to be part of this movement to get us to that next goal of 115,100. That's right. We're at 89. 115,089. So 11 brave souls. Go ahead and sign up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click that notification bell and help us get to our weekly goal of 115,100. That being said, I'll go ahead and play the clock. I was definitely interested in this fight. Did not watch it live like the rest of you. Went back and caught it on ESPN. Luckily, it was there and it was easy accessible. I'm not as upset at Joe Joyce as the rest of you guys. I feel like, yeah, he's slow, but I don't see anyone letting their hands go the way that Joe Joyce does in the heavyweight division. That's what he does have is he's very consistent with the activity. It could be slow all you want, but my man's going to the body. He's hitting you in the head, and it's non-stop. Now I kind of get why they're saying juggernaut. Yeah, he's, whatever. If he's slow to you, that's fine. I wonder what DuBois is going to do in the ring with Joyce because Wallisch was the level of DuBois' opponents, of all of his opponents. So Joe Joyce, slow or not, best thing DuBois has been in there with. And that's a minute, champs.
And real quick, guys, y'all can follow along on YouTube to the thing, and we're going to have a spot for rebuttals and final thoughts and stuff like that. So don't worry. I do suggest with this format, from what I've read, to just have like a pen or some paper or your phone with you and make notes because you want to let everyone and then get that rebuttal in because that's going to be your time. No one's going to talk over it. But go ahead, Ness.
All right, so
the next one would be Joyce and Daniel DuBois. Who wins 1 minute per host? Mm-hmm. You see it?
Yep. So we're going straight to Mitty.
Okay, like who wins is a very difficult question to answer. However, Joe Joyce is gonna ask some tough question from DuBois, right? Like we said, he's slow, but he's not that slow. He's relentless. That's what he does. He's going to close the distance, and he's going to force DuBois to fight on the inside, shorten his punches. I think that if he takes Dubois deep into the later round, he can finish it. But let me put my neck on the line here and say that Dubois is actually eventually going to do it. I see him working off the jab pretty well and catching him with like one of those right hand over the top and end up winning the fight. Because Joe Joyce relies way too much on his chin being a granite chin, which it is. We haven't seen him getting hurt, but he could get hurt if he fights one of those powerful fighters. So, and if Dubois is who he thinks he is, then he can do that. So, but it's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough.
Alexander, he's no Alexander.
Yeah, it spills over from what I was saying before, I guess, not following the trajectory here. But yeah, Joe Joyce, it scares me a little bit because he's a little too slow. And yeah, you're right, Coach Mitty. He relies on his granite chin sometimes, and the way he stands in the pocket takes a lot of risks, if you ask me. With a guy like Daniel DuBois that's not going to be afraid to throw in the exchange, he could find himself in trouble if he gets hit right on the chin. So even though I say that, Joe Joyce is still, I guess, in my opinion, one of the most durable guys in the heavyweight division, and his combination punches really wears guys out. So if he can manage to, avoid the real heavy shots, I mean, you're going to get hit. But if he can avoid the heavy shots in the Dubois fight and keep him at the end of the punches, I see Joe Joyce just, eventually hitting Dubois with one of those crazy body punches or combinations and starting to hurt him and maybe taking him out in the later rounds. So, yeah, that's where I stand with Joe Joyce versus Daniel Dubois.
Damn, I gave this sucker 10 seconds extra, bro. I'm over here trying to pack my cone. Mario.
Listen, the bottom line is this. It's a 50-50 fight. I think that everybody that I've heard seems very passionate about this, both American and U.S. fans alike. If you're a hardcore and you know about this fight, there are people that strongly feel like Daniel Dubois is going to win and that strongly feel like Joe Joyce is going to win. This is a 50-50 fight. Right now, I'm leaning towards Joe Joyce. I do believe that Daniel Dubois can be suckered into a firefight. I do believe that Daniel Dubois could abandon the game plan in that situation with those kind of lights, with that magnitude of a fight. I think it could happen, and that fight benefits Joe Joyce 9 out of 10 times. So for him to have all that power, for him to pack all that power, he can make more mistakes in that fight, I feel like, and still pull it off. I think Daniel Dubois has to fight, not a perfect fight, but he has to be more on guard throughout 10, 12, however long it lasts. I don't think it's going that long, but we'll see. And ultimately, I picked Joe Joyce, but I can't wait for that fight.
Yo, I cheated, man.
I know you did, because I got a clock right here.
I'm so anxious that I took 5 seconds off your clock. I was trying not to let you go over like Doomy. But let me go ahead and put this on. So for me, I'm definitely going with Joyce, but just based off what I've always said here, man, you got to prove it, and Joyce has been doing that. He's fought consistently the top level opposition, whether that's in the pros or in the World Boxing Super Series, or whatever that amateur thing was that he was doing with no headgear. Joyce has the experience that Dubois doesn't. Dubois has been fighting guys that, we can't remember their name except for
Daniel DuBois. I am going to knock you out.
Fujimoto. So it's like, I seen the way that Dubois fought yesterday, and I can see him getting hit with some rights. He tries to roll it. His hands are a little low, but I don't know, the activity, man. I'm really interested to see, can Dubois let his hands go when that consistency of Joe Joyce is there. But right now, the experience is going to get the young fawn for me, man. I'm going to go with the older Joe Joyce. They say we look alike, so I got to root for him, bro. That's my man's in them.
All right. Well, so that's good. So we have a shot right there, 2 minutes. Any rebuttals people want to take right now, they can. I'm going to go ahead and skip mine. I said what I had to.
Rebuttal? That's all I got to say.
I'm going to put you to sleep.
Who is that?
I'm going to put you to sleep.
Never heard of him.
It's Joe Joyce. It's Joe Joyce,
I'm gonna put you to sleep.
Listen, that's the one thing I'll say in my rebuttal, right? So, Joe Joyce in general, like what the soundbite that Doomsday is playing is Joe Joyce like starting to bring out his character. Like the one thing that people always said about Joe Joyce, oh, he's boring outside the ring, he can't talk. But over the last 2 fights at least, we can see him just coming out with like his personality and just him just saying to the camera, what do you think of that fight with Daniel DuBois? What you gonna do? You've got a message for him? I'm gonna put you to sleep. That's exactly right on cue, my man Doomy. So that's good. He's becoming a bit more likable to the public. I do like him. Like I said, I don't know, it's just a 50-50 fight, but I do believe that it's gonna be a fight where Joe Joyce is gonna ask some serious question of DuBois. Is gonna make him fight a fight that he doesn't want to fight on the inside, and we're gonna find out if DuBois can do it on the inside, right? So that's gonna be interesting. But you can't hate on Joe Joyce's opponent so far, right? He's fought like good guys with good, I don't know, pedigree, but at least a winning record, right? Go on any heavyweights that has 10 fights and look at their box rec and look at the opponent that they fought and look at the winning and losing column. Joe Joyce always fought guys that have maybe less than 5 losses, right? And about 20 odd fights and everything. And he's doing it. He's doing it for real. He's got the experience. And, you know, I like the guy. You know, I like what he's doing. And I don't think the criticism that he gets is good, man. Like, he's not that slow. Get in a ring with him and you realize that he's not slow, man. So there you go. I agree.
My only rebuttal would be, I guess, reinforcement on my pick. DuBois hasn't been in there with the level of opposition. And I question whether or not Joe Joyce could get the knockout. You know, last night he was hitting this journeyman with everything that he had and in combination. Never just one punch. And that's why my opinion changed yesterday, because I seen him now do that with Stavern. You know, the last fight, this fight, he's consistent with this coming forward behind the jab. He stabs to the body. You know, and DuBois, I don't see anything special besides the power. Like, I don't see him setting it up. I don't see him getting on his toes like Fury. Like, I see a big muscular dude with a lot of knockouts. You know, I think what sticks out is that he's the only guy to knock out Kevin Johnson, or maybe he went to decision. I'm not sure. Did he go to decision, Mitty? Or did he get the knockout?
I didn't even know he fought Kevin Johnson. Did he fight Kevin Johnson, DuBois?
Yeah. But you know what? I think it's AJ that got the knockout and not him, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. But whatever, man. That's my only thing. Like, I don't know about putting anybody to sleep if you're Joe Joyce. You know, you was hitting this dude yesterday that he didn't look like he belonged in there with you. And, yeah, he got a stoppage, but he didn't even get a knockout stoppage. You know what I mean? He got like a ref saving him, a mercy stoppage. And those are good, too, because that means that you're pounding your guy out and you're outworking him. But I don't know, man. You know, in the heavyweight
division,
went
to the canvas. It wasn't like he was fighting to continue. Who knows if he would have actually gotten up. You're right. He was a referee save.
No.
He was beating the crap out of him.
But he went to the canvas on a separate occasion from the stoppage. Like, he got a knockdown and then the stoppage. I'm just saying it doesn't look like he has that DuBois power. DuBois hits a dude and they react. Juggernaut is hitting you to eventually he wears you down. That's what it looks like to me, but, you know, I was under 2 minutes there. So, looks like we got topic numero dos. Anybody else
before
gonna
we start
rebuttal?
Before we start a topic and go into those things, we will just introduce it in like a fashion that doesn't eat anyone's time. All facts, all basic. So I'll do that just so we can see the flow. Guys, I didn't have power, so you know, people listening will get this better. We just wanted to try this, so there was no way I could really do.
Damn, you just like Joe Joyce. You ain't got no power.
Yeah, exactly. Damn. Right. So, damn, you didn't come to boxing bars. Help me out. So look, the WBC, we're moving on to the next topic. The WBC, as we all know, has ordered Ryan Garcia and Campbell and Luke Campbell. And De La Hoya's come out. He did an interview with Chris Mannix of Sports Illustrated and said some interesting comments about the fight. Now, we all know the trouble that De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia have been having. Ryan Garcia came out and gave a scathing interview to Mike Coppinger where he blasted De La Hoya and said, "Release me. If you don't think that I'm it, release me." I'm paraphrasing, of course. And so now we have some quotes from De La Hoya, and I'll read those, and then we will start. And Ness, you can pick who goes first. You did go last, so if you want to go first, that's cool. Well, this is De La Hoya talking to Chris Mannix at Sports Illustrated during an episode of their podcast. He said, "Well, I mean, the WBC has ordered it, and we're obviously now waiting for Eddie Hearn to make us the offer because he does promote Luke Campbell, and that's what the fight has to happen. It's the WBC orders. That's exactly what has to take place, and so it's a great fight. It's a difficult fight for both guys. It's a real fight. I think it'll be the first real test where fight fans and the public will finally respect Ryan Garcia by beating Campbell. So this is a fight that, if it does take place, will be very, very entertaining. You know, a pick'em fight." He went on to say, De La Hoya, "Our job is to make him a world champion," talking about Ryan Garcia. "And that's what I'm going to continue to do. We have him on the right path. He's a very talented fighter. We believe in him. And obviously we have a long-term contract together, a pact together. And I'm never going to stop believing in him. I want him to supersede whatever I did as well, you know, inside the ring. I want him to become a world champion many times over." He went on to say a few more things, namely that he feels that Ryan Garcia could be one of the best in the history of the sport. So we ask for everybody 1 minute. Did Oscar De La Hoya enter the shade room and blast his fighter by saying that they're finally going to respect him? Or is he Ryan Garcia's best friend and the only one telling him the truth right now? Ness, you can go.
You got it different. You got 2 minutes and then 1 minute rebuttal.
Yeah, because I felt like the topic was a little more, you know what I mean? You don't have to take the full 2 minutes.
You're right. I mean, so who's up first?
Go ahead. You go first, since you went last.
So the question is...
well, I can go first while everybody gets caught up. That's fine.
Well, go ahead, champ.
Well, I'm going to go ahead, and I think that in all honesty, it was shade. You know, you got to look at what he said. You know, finally respect Ryan, a pick'em fight. You know, it's definitely words that he's choosing carefully. You know, he could have come out and said, "Oh, you know, Ryan's on another level." He could have said a bunch of other things. He chose these words specifically. I think he was taking a few digs, but ultimately he's Ryan's best friend. Ryan needs to understand the perception of the way things look, and De La Hoya is giving him that. He's letting him know that nobody's really been on his side at this point. It just seems like too much, and it's overdone and it's overcooked. Ultimately, Ryan has talked too big a game to even really live up to those words right now. And so De La Hoya is trying to rein him in. That's what this was, and I think it was honestly needed. And by the way, it had some tact in it. He could have gone uglier, and we've seen promoters go uglier, and he didn't. And De La Hoya's been uglier at times too with other fighters that he promotes. So that's my time.
I mean, look, what can I say? De La Hoya isn't wrong, first of all, for saying that, because we all know that Ryan Garcia really hasn't been in a fight just yet. You know, he's looked good, and he's knocked out, I guess, one or two names that are valid, but then not he hasn't been in a fight. So yeah, he's not too far-fetched in saying that after he beats Campbell, people will start respecting him more. Campbell's a young fighter, strong fighter, and it's going to be real interesting to see where he stands after that fight. And De La Hoya knows that after he beats, and if he beats Campbell, his career itself is going to propel itself just that step in the direction of becoming a superstar. So yeah, De La Hoya wasn't too far-fetched in saying that. And you know, maybe he's not him. Look, he's his promoter. He has to be his best friend, right? He has to be his best friend up until that contract is up. Promoters got to get their most out of the investment, you know, and he's going to continue to try to assure that Ryan Garcia reaches each step and making sure that he rises at every corner, because, you know, that is the investment up until Ryan Garcia is able to get himself out of that contract. So I don't know. There's always beef between him and De La Hoya. So it's pretty hard to read sometimes on where these two guys are going in the future with themselves.
Midday.
Yo, for me, like I really don't know where this world is going, man. Like the guy, I don't see what's wrong with what De La Hoya said, right? And I hope that Ryan didn't come out and say that he's offended by this or didn't take any offense thinking that De La Hoya is taking shots at him. Because if he is, then it tells you that, young kids these days are just like have like a very different opinion and perception of where they should be. Like the guy just said everything that you want to hear from your promoter. If he was my promoter, I'd be hyped. Like the guy saying me, he believes in me. He can, he wants to make me a multiple world champion. He thinks that, at this point in my career, I haven't had like the big fights, which is true. But when I beat Luke Campbell, who is like a good opponent with a good pedigree, I will definitely get the respect, or finally get the respect that some people maybe are just like throwing back at me and saying I'm all hype. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Just say, hey, people see the speed, people see the IG, but you're always going to have haters that will tell you that you're hype right now. Don't worry, kid. When you beat that guy, we're going to silence them. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what your promoter is supposed to say. That's what your manager is supposed to say. That's what your dad, your brothers, your friends are supposed to say. So if you think that it's shade and if you get upset for like good advice like this, I don't know how and who can promote you except someone who's just going to lie to you and just hype you up. And then at one point is going to throw you to the wolves because there won't be no money or no more money to make from you. They're just going to just like, cash you out and that's it. Gone. So I don't know. Like that. That's me basically.
Damn, Mitty, 11 more seconds. You was going to take the whole 2.
My man. On point. Well, yeah, so everybody went through it. I will say...
I didn't, Speedy.
Oh, my bad. I'm so sorry. Well, you were supposed to go first. That's why I forgot.
Well, I mean, is it shade? I guess it could be perceived that way. He's got to say motivating words. And saying that Garcia will earn his respect with the win over Campbell is kind of putting him or pushing him in the direction of Campbell, letting those walls close in on him, kind of the way that he did with Romero Duno. And that's why I'm going to say this is him stepping into the shade room, because we've seen him do it before. We've seen him say that Ryan's team turned down Duno or didn't want to fight this one because they didn't feel he was ready, and then Ryan come out all mad and pouting. So, look, man, it's a love-hate relationship because for Oscar, he understands that he works for Ryan but has him under contract, and there is an upside, but can he get him there? So it's a very, it's dangerous waters to get this potential golden goose to that other side of that road where he can start making the money. And you might have to swallow some things, but it looks like Oscar is, letting his claws out too. We used the Pussycat reference the other day, but he's got his claws out, man. He's got his claws out. And you know what? Listen, you got to fight fire with fire. And Ryan loves to go to social media and say, oh, I'm going to tell my followers never to sign to you, and I'm going to tell them how bad you treat me. So, it's great for Oscar to do the same thing, put the same media pressure on Ryan. But that's about it for me.
Yeah,
Damn,
listen,
I was 4
I'm going to use
short of 2 minutes. Wow. That was long.
Nice. I'm going to use my 1 minute rebuttal to pose the question is, if at the end of the day, this guy is coming out and making these claims about how great it would be for him to have fought Campbell, is it that he's posing this question? He's saying he's not going to be beat until he beats him because there's no more options on the table. Like he has to get him this title fight to get him the kind of money that'll get him to come back. Like basically what I'm asking, are Oscar's hands tied at this point? And there's like nothing he can do to salvage the situation other than try these tactics. I don't know. It kind of feels that way. But you know, obviously you can answer it if you want. But I was just asking the question theoretically.
You up first, Mitty?
I'd like to, but
go for it. Rebuttal time.
I don't.
1 minute.
I don't think I understood the question though. Like,
well, really, really, I just feel like. Do you feel like Oscar? Do you feel like at this point Oscar's hands are tied? Or was this the only move he has left to continue to get more and more pressure in the media? Is basically what I'm saying.
No, I don't think so, to be honest. Like, so getting more and more pressure, like to get the fight
to get Ryan
or
just to fight someone
to fight someone. No, it doesn't have to. Like, so hey, listen, at the end of the day, a promoter is going to tell you this is the route I want you to go towards, and if you keep consistently saying like, no, I don't want to fight this one and do this, do that, I guess like you're going to refuse those fights, and your promoter is going to find you other fights that aren't as lucrative, that aren't as good for your image and your reputation, and then your contract will run out, and then that's it. You'll just go your separate ways. But like Oscar is just saying, you know, he's just talking the truth. He's just telling the guy, hey, I want to work like towards getting you the best fights, getting you the title that you deserve, but you got to do it. You got to step into the ring. So I don't think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it was more Mario's fault than yours. You know, you didn't understand the question, so he ate some of your time.
My bad.
But, yeah, I was a bit confused with the question myself. But I think it's more because this could never be the only fight that Ryan has to take. He's still Ryan. Like, you know, Oscar.
The Instagram phenom.
Oscar and his manager could come to some sort of agreement to find him someone comparable to a Luke Campbell. But I get what Mitty's saying. I mean, he's consistently never happy is what it seems like for the outside looking in. So, I mean, there's no real rebuttal other than that I believe Ryan does not need to take the Luke Campbell fight. There isn't an ultimatum there. It isn't do or die. Like, his career doesn't end and begin with Luke. Like, if they can't get this deal done, I'm pretty sure Golden Boy will find him someone else just as comparable. Boom, 4 seconds left.
My man, do me rebuttal time.
Rebuttal to my own thought, or rebuttal?
Well, just in general. I said rebuttal on there, but really it's final thoughts. I don't know why I put rebuttal. I meant to put final thoughts.
Now, final thoughts, the same thing. You know, look, man, who knows what's inside Ryan Garcia's mind and around his camp and the people who have an influence on his decisions. Obviously, you know, it hasn't been too smooth out in the media between him and Oscar, but I'm pretty sure Oscar still wants him to, you know, get the most out of his career. I mentioned before as an investment, but you just never know who's in Ryan Garcia's ear. And, you know, he's with Canelo now, and I feel as though, you know, Canelo's probably going to be, you know, promoting his own fighters and stuff like that. So in the future, he might join with him. There's just so many little ways that Ryan Garcia can go that gives a person a thought for any direction that he could go to, because he's a superstar. So a lot of people would want Ryan Garcia on their roster. So, yeah. Just final thought is it, you know,
Cut it. Call you long-winded.
Yo, call you. Damn, what happened?
What?
Yo, you made me think of something though, as far as like Ryan Garcia being, well, all of y'all, but Mitty, perpetually unhappy, and just like when that happens on like in other sports, like it brings everybody down, you know. So it's like weird in boxing where it's like a solo thing. But that was the topic. If anybody else wants, go ahead, Mitty. Sorry.
Yeah, just the one thing, like we consistently like use words like superstar for someone like Ryan Garcia, but like what Oscar is saying is like, yeah, you're on your way to being a superstar. You're not a superstar yet, right? And do something that will make you a superstar, and that's not wrong, man. You have to take that as an investment.
Or prove that you're a superstar.
Yeah, or prove it, right? And to be honest, like the one thing that you could be thinking also is like, hey, those putting him in a ring with Luke Campbell is a way just to bring him back down to earth. Because if you believe that he's going to get a loss, and I don't think that's his promoter thoughts, right? Because his promoters should be looking out for his interest, because that's also his interest, right? Yeah. So there's no point just putting him there for a loss. But the reality is that it could actually bring Ryan Garcia back down to earth. Like, if he takes an L, how do you come back from that? The first obstacle that you had to go over, you did, So,
well,
all right. We officially need 8 more brave souls to sign up, and we will get to our weekly goal of 100 subs. It would be better to do 100 a day.
And by sign up, we mean hit the subscribe button on YouTube right there underneath the video, and turn on your notifications too.
Yeah, because we're at 115,092 now, so we just need 8 more. But moving along, looks like
this is a new segment that I'm introducing. All right, it's called Schedule Check. Check that schedule. It's probably the worst catchphrase that I've ever thought of, but I'll keep working on it.
So we're checking the boxing schedule.
And checking the boxing schedule, and I've put some questions there that will help guide us. At the end of the day, you are feel free to check the schedule in any way you want. But the 3 questions I have posed here will go down. They have time limits. We can stick to them as much as we want, but I feel like it's unfair that I didn't give y'all the heads up, which I wanted to do in the meeting, which I couldn't do because I had no power. And so I think y'all deserve a little more time than what I gave.
As far as
schedule, let me just go over the questions real quick, though. These are the ones that if you want to stick to. With all the fights recently announced, let's hear your favorite ones. Minute each host, whatever. Most underrated fight. You could give us that. And then actually Thomas Hauser wrote a really good article. He didn't really talk about it specifically, but in it he posed the question, DAZN is back. Do people care? I think that there's a real deep message there that's a bigger problem than probably we even consider right now. But yeah, so schedule check. Those are some questions to pose. You can, do with what you will. But I have mine down. I can go first if y'all need me to.
Yeah, do that.
Do that.
I'm gonna put you.
Okay, do that. Listen, as far as most underrated fight, that's what I want to start with first, and I'll stay under 30 seconds. Mario Barrios and Ryan Carl. Listen, this is an all-Texas affair. I've covered both of these guys. Now, just so you know, this is on the Rosario double card pay-per-view. That's the one with Jamal and Derevchenko and Jermell and Rosario in the unification at 154 pounds. A great card. Ryan Carl and Mario Barrios are on the pay-per-view card. I'm telling y'all right now, watch that fight. You might be familiar with Mario Barrios. You might not be familiar with Ryan Carl. It's going to be a great fight. These guys know each other very well. I was actually surprised that they're fighting right now. But that said, they always were, willing to fight each other. And this is going to be a great fight. Definitely both guys have video footage from PBC fights in the past and on Fox. Go back, check them out. See what you think. Ryan Carl is, I would say, at least a live dog. I'm not going to pick him, but it's going to be a great fight.
What the fuck is wrong with this guy?
So you want the underrated fight of the schedule?
Underrated fight of the schedule. Also, you could talk about your favorite ones that have been announced that might go under the radar. I like Chris Colbert and Jamie Arboleto.
Yeah.
Yes, that is such an interesting fight in a lot of ways, but mainly for me, I think it's Chris Colbert's time to really start to get his name out there. It's a showcase fight for me. I also like Gervonta Davis, Leo Santa Cruz more over the weekend. Just seeing the debates on Twitter and seeing everybody talk about it, there are a lot of people that really feel differently about this fight. I really felt like everybody was just going to assume that Tank was going to come in and steamroll Leo, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And, that's about it as far as, fights that kind of went under the radar. But obviously, most of all, I'm looking forward to the Charlos. I feel like it's the biggest and best card out there right now.
Well, I think you did a good job of putting 2 underrated fights. I like both a lot. I'm invested in Mario since the beginning. I know his dad and I know his trainer and, I've watched his growth, And I know Ryan Cowboy Kyle and his trainer, Ronnie Shields. So I feel like Barrios should get the win. As far as underrated, I guess, because people won't talk about it the way that you and I will. But I think that you did a fantastic job talking about the Chris Colbert fight as an underrated fight, because it was so underrated that even though I said to you guys that, you know, I wanted to do a show on it, I also said it wasn't big enough for its own show. So that's kind of classic underration right there. Like, you know, Jaime, if you didn't watch him versus Jason Velez, you don't know who he is, so you're not as excited. And, you know, you said that for Chris, this will, like, put him out there. And I think it's the opposite. I think if he would have got his original opponent that Valdez eventually got, because Chris is the one that announced he was fighting Jason Velez on his social media, but Valdez eventually got that opponent, which is more known in boxing households versus Jaime. Jaime is just a tough fight. And not tough because him and Velez were in a tough fight, but tough because a lot of people thought he lost. So now he training like a dog. So Colbert gonna get the best version of him. So yeah, I believe it's underrated, and I think it's gonna produce some real firecrackers, because Colbert doesn't understand that he doesn't have knockout power. You know, his confidence leads him to fight in the center of the ring as if he's a big man sometimes. And I don't know. I think this Panamanian kid could crack. But Colbert is a fantastic boxer. That was a bit long-winded. We use no clock.
No, that's cool. I think for me, it's not about like underrated fights, because I guess like those guys you haven't really seen of both of them, right? But it's more about me trying to put you onto some UK lesser known fighters.
Definitely.
And hopefully, like, you know, we're going to get to speak to one of them soon. But like, I believe that on the Dillian White, Povetkin undercard, you have a fight that's going to be interesting, and that's Luther Clay versus Chris Congo. Again, a bit like you guys with Mario Barrios, you know, I know personally Chris Congo. I wish him all the best, and I actually believe that he has, like, you know, very decent skills, and he can become, like, at the very least, a good name on the national scene in the UK, and move on to probably European honors at least. Who knows about world level, right? So if you listen to him, he's going to talk to you about world level straight away. But I want him to impress you guys first. And like, so if you're going to watch that DAZN card, just tune in early, watch that fight, and let me know what you think, right? So.
Man, that's the end of the month. That's the end of the month, right? That's like
yeah, that's 21st or 22nd of August.
Yo, why you always abusing Mitty? You didn't give anybody else a Superman soundbite when they talked about their
that's what I'm saying.
Yo, Coach Mitty, that's Coach
Mario
man.
deserved it. Mario's
that's
over there.
Coach Mitty's man from the UK. We all know Coach Mitty.
But Mario,
he goes Superman for his.
But dog, how do you not go Superman for Mario when he literally said the underrated fight is by Mario? Like, he picked a guy with his own name. How narcissistic is that? A guy with his own name.
The guy that closest resembles my name.
A guy with his own name, same nationality, and from his own state, and you don't give him the cape, but you give it to Mitty. Crazy.
Yo, underrated. I guess I can relate to what Mitty was saying. Like, you know, if a guy's not really known, I guess it can be underrated. But like, guys that are really known, and I think the fight.
I hate to interrupt you, but I think you should do exactly what Mitty just did. Yeah, Mitty said to me, it's not about underrated guys, more about putting you on a guy that y'all don't know that I think is good. You have a guy that just recently signed to Andre Rozier in Havoc Management. Rozier being the former trainer, Daniel Jacobs, recent trainer of Edgar Berlanga, Richard Comey. Man, I mean, you know, dozens of fighters. He's working with the heavyweight now, who was a former cruiserweight, Marco Hook. So yeah, Dumi, who is this guy that signed to Havoc and Andre Rozier?
Nah, he's a local kid, from around my way. You already know him. We call him El Bori, but his name is Jose Nieves, and he's a 4-time USA boxing national champ, and he recently has signed to Havoc Advisory Management. That's Andre Rozier's management company, and I'm really excited for this kid because. I've seen him work a lot, and I've seen him for years now, coming up, as a young man, and now, he's getting older, and I don't mean super old, but, he's obviously started since he was a kid in boxing, and it was just real surprising to me because I knew he was making the transition, but I didn't know who he was signing with, and, I hadn't kept in touch with him as much as I should, but I was very happy for him. You guys can check him out on IG. They call him El Bori Nieves. And he's all over the place. He trains all over the place. You'll see him on
1 to 10. 1 to 10. Where was your meter rating in terms of shocked that it was Rozier he signed to?
I'm gonna say I was shocked in a sense that I just didn't. I hadn't kept in touch with him, so I didn't know which direction he was going with. But yeah, I was a little shocked. But at the same time, I was very happy, and I was like, man, they got a good one. They got a good one over there.
Now,
Havoc Advisory.
This is the two kids that they look like twins, right? Two Puerto Rican kids always training. They got the Manny Pacquiao's, and the father is the one that does the pad work with him.
Yeah, and it's like
we had one of them.
It's three brothers. It's three brothers. I don't think we've ever had one of them on. I'm gonna schedule him on. He's downloaded the Skype app and everything, and I've talked to him. So, I'm going to be very excited to bring him on whenever Ness, tells me when exactly to slot him in. But, he's pretty good, man. He's very good. He's fast.
I already told you to put him in any time this week, but you letting the slots get filled.
So let us know what weight class is he in, because I love discovering people like that, right? And like I said many times before, that's how I started listening to the Boxing Voice, right? Just to know about people on the other side of the pond, right?
So first and foremost, this kid, I met him in Dumi's old gym, the rec center. Yeah. It's a free gym. It's on the second floor. It's completely renovated now at this point. They did everything new. And, it's a lot of young kids go there. But Gary Stark Sr. Brings his amateurs there. And they get a lot of sparring on, if you're a heavyweight, forget about it. But if you're under that, even as an adult, you'll get to spar a lot of kids that, are national champs or have been to a lot of nationals. And I was shocked. I see the kid. I've seen him spar dozens of times. He's nice. Got a great left hook, traditional Puerto Rican left hook. But I don't know. I never seen him as a killer. You feel me? So it was like, oh, wow, Rozier's interested? So I don't know. I guess now we'll see with the headgear off and, smaller gloves. He's got a lot of swag, but not like Edgar Berlanga. Two different types of Puerto Ricans. This one is completely humble, and not that Edgar isn't, but I mean, the demeanor is more like you gonna have to force words out of him. Am I wrong, Doomy? I feel like he don't talk.
Yeah, it's a shy guy.
Nah.
I feel like he don't talk though.
Yo,
for every time I seen him, he don't talk. He's in there just working. It's like, hey, what's up? And then it's work. Like very little words. I never even see him doing jokes in the gym.
Nah, bro. There's a lot of joking around. He's a character too. It's just that what it is. Most of the time, I think when you see him, it's mostly business. You go in there, you see him training, you see him on the mitts, you see him listening to the coaches. But he's real down to earth. He's funny. He speaks English. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be fun to watch him on the interviews and actually get to see him talk, because he does come off as quiet sometimes in the gym. But when the training's over, you kick it with him and stuff, man. He's down to earth, and I think that now him transitioning over to a pro and being around guys like Edgar Berlanga and having a guy like Andre Rozier in your corner, he's soaked up knowledge on what it is to transition from amateur to a pro. So I think that now he's going to take on.
You spoke to him. You think he's training with them in New York? Cause isn't he from Jersey?
Well, he is from Jersey, but he trains everywhere. I know that he told me, when I was speaking to him, that the pandemic's kind of put a roadblock in a lot of his abilities to be able to move around and train in different gyms, because that's what he does. He's able to move around and go to different gyms, get different sparring. His dad always made sure that he was exposed to a lot of different styles, and that's been pretty much hindered in a lot of ways because of the pandemic. So something that we could talk to him more in depth about, I guess, when I schedule him. I'll schedule him right away now that I spoke to you, I guess, right now. But he's a 114-pound amateur. That's where he is.
140?
Yeah, 114 he was fighting at.
Oh, 114.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Well.
He finished 2019 participating in the Olympic trials, and he ranked one of the top 114-pound amateurs in the country.
Damn.
And
so that's right. Yeah, I mean, look, at least I'm open to that division. We watch 115s now. I mean,
and he's growing, so
they're getting a little hotter.
Yeah, I see him.
He's
rising.
118, 120.
Yeah,
chill, Chizzy. You ain't keep it under a minute, dog. It's my turn. So for my gym,
he went for 20 minutes or something.
I know. No, so for my gym, and which is still Doomy's gym, because I forced him to transition out that freaking amateur gym. But bro, Shadasia Green went to Mexico, caught a body in 5 seconds, beating Sinisa Estrada's record of 7 seconds. And they dropped the ball. There's no footage. But the WBC was present. It was an eliminator. She got the Sean Porter medal, but we know how that worked. Sean Porter had the little medal I got. Where mine's at? Here you go. Uh-oh. Sean Porter had this for like 3 fights before he finally got to fight Danny. So we'll see what that means for Shadasia Green. But real quick, I just want to go ahead and screen share for those that don't know what she looks like and who she is. She's at 168. So the crazy thing is that obviously I know her personally. I've sparred her. So this is my doggy right here. But the bad part is my doggy going to have to face Franchon Cruz eventually, especially since she got this WBC strap medallion, I guess. So yeah, man, I'm not really happy about that because she's not ready for Franchon. Franchon has been on that world level. Franchon's been on television. Franchon has suffered adversity with Jimenez in the wig. It's just too much. It's just too much that Franchon has done. Her first fight was Clarissa, but I'm hoping now that Shadasia's 5-0, 5 KOs. That a bigger promoter signs and at least builds that fight the way that Salida eventually signed Christina Hammer and built to the Shields Hammer fight. I don't really want her to go to Golden Boy. They don't know how to promote boxing. Really. They don't know how to promote boxing.
That's much harsher than I thought you were going to say.
I mean, listen.
As a whole, they can't promote boxing. That's what you're saying.
I mean, they had their time.
I feel like they have a specialty. I think that's fair to say.
No, see, because I'm not going to make it about black and Latino. No, I think that okay, check this out. What's the last good Golden Boy fight you remember?
That's a good question. I don't know. I mean,
and for anybody out there, don't say no. That's co-promotion. That's a co-promotion. And so was
just like purely theirs. Like
exactly. So was Franco. Yeah. So was Franco. That was with Top Rank on Top Rank. Bubble.
And they led. It.
Like, dude, who do they promote? Like who?
But isn't that part of promoting? Is making sure that you put your guys where they need to be.
Man,
even if that means not promoting, but allowing them on the show that gets them the best opportunities.
General Pendant. I didn't have a medal ready. I'm a Mauricio Suleiman boy, so I got everything. I got the pendant, I got the belt, got the badges, I got the shirts, and I even got like pins in this drawer somewhere. Here it goes.
Yo, I thought that you paused for that long because you were gonna say they don't know how to promote female boxing, but just like let's not like
because I was gonna
their meaning to just go general.
That's what I thought you were
which is fine.
Because I was gonna be specific, but then it clicked to me. It's like like
it's not about that.
They haven't promoted since they lost Pacquiao, Eric Morales, Amir Khan, Marquez. Like they don't know how to promote. Like
that's why I like the way you checked it, because you were gonna go there female boxing, but then it's a reality check. It's
I
not
was
about
actually
gender,
not gonna
it's
say
not about race and everything.
Actually, I was gonna go race. I was because they don't have a track record of promoting any black fighter to the highest level. He'll argue that he took Deontay Wilder to his first world title fight. Let's give him that.
I'll tell you that he's got to be hope in the at least on the board, right? And just like on
the board.
Even though I always felt, even as a kid, I don't know what year was that B-Hop Oscar fight to know how old I was, but I feel like I was a kid, even though I probably wasn't. But when I seen that, I wasn't in the sport the way that I am now, and I knew Oscar took a dive. Back then, I don't even think I knew what dives was, and I'm like, I watched so many Oscar fights. I'm like, damn, how that body shot took him out for good. Now, as an adult and being in the ring, I see that, liver shot will take you out. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I was so disappointed that Oscar went down like that and didn't get back up. And then he's pouting on the floor. And how you got energy to bang on the canvas with your glove but not get up? It's like,
man, everybody
he pissed me off. Man, he pissed me off.
That happens, man. Like a body shot will just cripple, like you get like that electric shock throughout your back, your legs. But trust me, you'll be there. You'll be shaking him, pounding on the canvas, man.
But listen, the problem was he came out. He was like, he hit me right on the button. He hit me right on the button. He kept saying it was like almost a prepared statement.
Exactly.
It felt like.
But back to the topic. Franchon Cruz is a champ. She's a unified champ. I didn't see a campaign. I didn't feel like Golden Boy was out there like, hey, we got to get Franchon her belt. She's the real champ. It was more like, yo, let's just sit back, be quiet, say the necessary things to see what happens. Because either way, if Jimenez keeps the belt, we good. We actually better, because that's what we like to promote, Mexicans. Let's just be real. And if Franchon keeps it, they give it back to her. Hey, we got paper on it, we promote it, but we going to stay quiet. And I didn't like that, because we know what's right and wrong. And right. It's like I said, Travell Maison, how long he been with Golden Boy? I've been knowing about Travell Maison since he was with Ann Wolf, and Ann Wolf been bringing him to Golden Boy been back then. Y'all can check his record.
That was like 14 or 15.
Bro, it's like, and look, my man passed away, and they never, like, he got one TV fight maybe? Not one.
Maybe.
Not one. But I mean, that we remember this year, I think he had a tune-up.
Yeah, the men one.
That's what I thought you meant.
It's like, yo, who did they promote that's African American? Who? Am I forgetting someone? Again, B-Hop to me don't count, because for me, Oscar was strategic. He's like, yo, I need this dude as a partner. I need him to bring in the African American community. So yeah, I'm gonna get and give him his biggest payday. I'm gonna give him his biggest payday, which was $10 million when he fought Oscar, and I'm gonna give him 5% of the company. And we're going to go from there. I'm sure Bernard is making more now, because Mosley was getting 5% back then too.
Let's be real, though. Let's be real. And I know we have to finish this up, because there's one more question I wanted to get to get everybody's point on. But they were promoting Floyd Mayweather for a while. I mean, yes, he had his own promotional company, but essentially Golden Boy was promoting him. Now, you can make the argument it was Richard Schaefer, but it was still Golden Boy.
Okay, Lamont Roach is what Maurice is saying. So Lamont Roach, they promoted him. How good of a job they did with him? He fought on Facebook.
Terrible.
He fought on Fantasy Spring. My man's from DMV, and the best they could do was an eliminator or something like that. He got in a vacant maybe with
and they made him fight tough too. They put him in some really tough fights early on.
I don't know about all that, but look at Blair the Flair.
You go back and look.
Blair the Flair. They can't make Blair any bigger. Like, I think we know Blair on this channel because we met Blair and we interviewed Blair. But like, Blair the Flair, people don't even know his personality. They don't even know how big that kid could be, and that's because they're not paying attention to him. They're not paying attention to him. So, I don't know, man. I don't even know what the original topic was, but yeah, they can't promote.
Let me tell you quickly, because, I think we did a good job talking about people that we know personally and we want to just try to put you on. I like the fact that you brought Shadeza Green, Ness, because, I've seen her too, and I hope that she gets, those big fights. Even the Franchon Cruz, I don't think it's too soon, because that's, the states of female boxing. Just put her in there. And even if she loses, she'll come back again anyway. But the fights that I'm looking forward to, and that are big fights, and generally people aren't talking about too much, and I don't understand why, because we know what we're going to get. That Taylor-Pursoon rematch, I know we're going to get a war.
Good one.
I think we're going to get an upset.
Really?
I think we're going to get an upset. When you beat someone, you know how to beat that someone. And when that someone gets dragged into wars because that's the way they do, that's what, that's the natural instinct, I think we're going to get a war. And if it's a war, I think Pursoon wins.
We should do a film study, because I'm not as excited as you. And maybe that's because I didn't see the first fight or overlooked it.
Listen,
you didn't see the first one?
Let me tell you, the first fight, it was on the AJ Ruiz one undercard.
Oh, definitely.
And I can tell you that in the arena itself, in MSG, usually when you get female boxing, and when I go to female boxing, people don't get so hyped up, right? But people that don't even know both girls, they were hyped because of the intensity of the fight. That was a crazy fight. I was like, every single punch or every single round, you'll be like, wow, oh. Big shots going in, big exchanges, and a lot of swings up and downs in that fight. So I think that's what we're gonna get again, man. So
listen, if I could rebuttal one thing about it, I will say that Taylor fought a terrible fight to start off with. She did a lot of things wrong that let Pursoon in. I feel like Taylor has the ability to fight a better fight and make it far less close, but it's going to be a war no matter what. Pursoon is going to be fighting to get in, fighting to make her hurt, and Katie's going to have to fight to stay smart and fight the kind of fight that makes her victorious at the end, which is a different fight altogether. She's got to be smart, can't make mistakes, can't let her in. That's what she did a lot.
I agree, but I don't think she's going to do that, because I don't feel like she's the kind like AJ that will stick to a game plan and say, okay, let me just box that person for 12 rounds and just move like AJ did against Ruiz. I think that she's a crowd pleaser. I think she's she has that competitive nature. She is like that, she wants to just go in there and win, but win the way she thinks is win fair and clear. And I don't think in her head she feels like boxing someone is fair and clear. Taylor, if she boxes everyone up. You can't box with her. But she always gets those fights maybe sometimes a bit close, because she wants to just please the crowd and do what she does, man. So yeah.
Definitely. Well, I do want to get y'all's take on one thing. Go ahead.
I just want to double back, because Brandon helped me with that argument. He said Lamont Roach and Rashidi Ellis. Bruh, they do. Yo, and then someone else in the chat, can't remember who, so apologies, but they said, that Blair Flair was a mistake. He beat someone named Villalobos. Let me see if I can.
Villalobos.
There you go. He wasn't even signed to them. He beat somebody that he wasn't supposed to beat. Then he beat somebody else again, and that's how he did. So I'm telling you, they don't even care, bro. That's not their forte, and it's understandable. But just bringing it back to Shadeza, I wouldn't want to see her sign with Golden Boy, because they would just be signing her as a just in case you beat Franchon, not, oh yeah, I see you look like Ann Wolf. Oh wow, you got tattoo. We could do this. We could. Nah, they don't see what I see. Their sight doesn't go.
She would be an opponent signed up for the night, as opposed to a fighter that they are looking to invest in.
And let me tell you, I can't even tell you with confidence, word is born, if they sign her, she'll knock out Matthysse La Conejo. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because I don't know how those punches translate from sparring to real boxing, right? And then I've been at her live fights. Like, yo, it's different. You know, you don't let your hands go as much. So I complained to her at one of her fights. I went all the way out. I'm like, yo, you got to let your hands go. You know, somebody else that is as aggressive as that girl Hernandez, because she fought a good common opponent with all the girls, everybody for her. And, you know, that girl was tough.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to bring up Rajan Chance as well, another kid from our gym. He's 2-0 now. He also got the KO last night. And I'm going to go ahead and screen share that so you can see what he looks like. This is the one that actually put me in, Doomy on Pop Smoke. Maybe Doomy will act like he's younger than me and he knew already who Pop Smoke was, but I had no clue. My man was in the gym alone, in the ring.
You a big Pop Smoke fan now or what?
No.
Oh, you just didn't know who it was.
I never knew who it was.
Gotcha,
and then I heard that one song that everybody listens to. I like the way you move. That's all. That's all I ever heard.
That's on my playlist right now, spinning.
But Rajan is nasty, y'all. He's nasty, okay? This kid spars.
He's 2-0?
He's 2-0 now. 2 KOs. He's nasty, bro. Listen, he spars with Chris Colbert. He spars with Shadeja. He spars everybody. He goes all around. Everybody. Hitchison's, everyone. He in Philly. His father don't play. Look, Doomy knows his father more than me. I never really felt this fight. His father got one of them attitudes like, you know, like even if you say what's up, he too busy to say what's up to you. So, you know, that's Doomy and them, boy. I think Doomy was trained by them too when he was an amateur. He's trained by the father. But his father got a few sons, right, Doomy? How many sons he got?
He got 3, man. They all fighters, bro.
Yeah.
He's all business, man, when it comes to the boxing gym. Shout out to Coach, man. He's you know, you can check him out on IG, Bobo Ashanti.
Bro, stop using the Skype chat. I keep telling y'all weirdos that.
My bad.
Yo,
Mitty, we got a super chat though. I don't have it. Mitty, can you?
Trenton Jones,
Yeah.
Katie Taylor is already up 3 rounds on Pearson.
You already know it. You already know it.
Nice.
Man,
I like
Trenton
that.
Jones, man. Come on, man. $2 super chat for that, man. At least give us $5 to say something like that. Come on.
Bro, Pearson had Katie on Career Street, champ.
She did, but she also fought really bad.
Trenton, man. I hate that. Why you don't change that shit to TJ? But TJ, don't worry about that $2, man, because it accumulates. And Doomy's creating something that will highlight and reward the monthly. What do you call it? What do you call it?
Well, we're gonna keep
the highest monthly supporter on YouTube.
Word.
You'll receive an award. Oh shit! I'm all on the back end here. What am I doing?
You sharing?
Yeah, you
right
sharing.
Hey, what happened?
That's broke the news before we were supposed to break it.
I mean, you know, just a little tease.
It
ain't out yet. It ain't out yet.
Everybody close your eyes.
Nah, that was nothing. That was just a super chat so that I don't miss them.
Yo, I want to throw one name out there. I'll make it 5 seconds. Israel Madrimov is going to fight.
That's not your man's. You can't. We throwing people we know. He knows Chris Congo. Yo, you going all the way to Palm Springs to Joel Diaz gym.
Yo, listen, he's fighting Eric Walker in his 6th fight. Eric Walker's fought the Charlos, or one of the Charlos, I think. Andy Lee.
He's from the Contender. He's from the Contender.
Yeah, he's from Contender.
This is his 6th fight, yeah, from Contender.
But he also went to jail. He also went to jail, Mario. He's also like 36 or 38. And our very own JD from Texas, shout out to JD from Texas. JD actually used Eric Walker for sparring for the last Border Wars and got the win. So, you know what I'm saying?
Maybe he could take one off next.
So, yeah, man. So, Eric Walker, I mean, I think he's like 36, 37, though, right? He's a little older now. And he went to
he's
jail.
Older. He's definitely older. It's just a good step-up fight for a guy with 5 fights. I mean, and it's a 12-rounder, by the way.
Didn't he step up his last fight already? Wasn't this the guy that was on the undercard as Mikey fight?
Garcia. And,
who he fought in his last fight?
Yeah, he fought in February. Yep. We saw it while we were at dinner.
Who did he
I
fight?
saw JD giving him the businessman inspiring, man. I saw some some videos, man. So that was good.
Really? I ain't get that footage. But listen,
he fought Charlie Navarro in that last fight.
But check it. That's basically what I'm saying, though, right, Mitty? I'm saying, yo, he's 36, 37, and he went to jail, so he got a late start, come back. You know what I mean? Like, this other dude is an Olympian on a fast track. He got 5 fights. He already trying to fight Eric Walker. You know.
Yeah. I like Eric Walker's story from The Contender. That's when I understood like the gel and his motivation for just being in the ring again and all that. So yeah, I like that. But I actually think that he's getting fed to that, to that young prospect though.
No, of course. That's exactly what's happening. Real quick, we got a super chat from John in Michigan that says, Thanks
TBV, giving us fans our fix 100%.
Emoji. So, yeah, man, what's next on the docket, Mario?
Real quick, I just want to pit this question. Thomas Hauser, which really I just want to give love to Thomas Hauser because he's one of my favorite writers, and I think he's great. He recently wrote an article on the boxing scene, and basically broke down really, really well DAZN and where they're at right now, what their model looks like. He gives a lot of background information so you can understand what's at stake for them heading into the last quarter of 2020 and possibly into 2021, and just everything that needs to go right for them and everything that could go wrong. It's a really good piece. But essentially he asked the question, DAZN back, does anybody care? And the way I interpret it for us to answer is that where they're at right now, they had 800,000 subscribers in the U.S. at the beginning of 2020. Okay, with where they're at, with what their lofty goals were to be the Netflix of sports in a sense, with the 125 million basically that was given Eddie Hearn to create them boxing, are they doing enough right now to gain subscribers back? And even with the theoretical matchups like Canelo versus ... Ryan Garcia potentially fighting ... is it enough even in the shorter long term? Those are all the questions posed. Where does DAZN stand with you right now? And I think we should hold this one off to a minute before it gets crazy.
Call you pose face.
I'll go first and say...
You go first.
I don't think that Canelo versus Triple G, Derevyanchenko, Charlo, whoever they find this year is gonna take DAZN over the top or bring them back into the green. Like they don't have enough sexy, consistent talent. Top rank. We're doing what, like 480 over there, between 330 to 480 with pies, but it's consistent and it's free. The one we had to pay for was this last one with Joe Joyce. If you didn't have the app, you couldn't even get in as, with your television provider. You needed to actually have the ESPN app to get that.
Yep.
I just don't see what DAZN can do other than spend a lot of money on getting 1 or 2 fights with fighters that they don't have licenses with, so they have to pay them exorbitant amounts to come and fight, which doesn't keep subscribers. They got to start letting Canelo fight more often, lesser fighters. Put him on a quarterly run with Terriano Johnson, Gabe Rosado, and then maybe 4 fights a year, and that last one is the Triple G. That last one is the Billy Joe. But they need to keep that door open because that's how boxing works. It's what have you done for me lately? Not, Canelo fighting twice a year, and because I'm hypothetically saving on his pay-per-view, I'm going to just stay subscribed. No, people will pay for that month and say goodbye. And that 800,000 is way before the pandemic.
Yes, it is. It's at the start of 2020.
Those numbers are not there anymore. Doomy ain't no subscriber.
Cut better, cut it.
Yeah,
I'm a subscriber. I was still
listen. Damn, that's my man's. Yo, listen. I'm gonna be honest with you. DAZN has the ability. Okay, DAZN has the ability to put the big fights on if they can get Ryan Garcia to fight the guys that we want. If they allow Canelo in with certain fights. Imagine a Ryan Tank fight. Imagine a Canelo Charlo fight. I think those are big fights. Hold on. Let me get my minute off. You'll get your rebuttal. So at the end of the day, they have it, but they can't execute it. These guys have already paid for the fights that they're setting up. They paid for Triple G Canelo to happen 3 because they read the room wrong. They thought, oh, well, nothing can go wrong if we plan a fight in 2017 to happen in 2021. Like, that's ridiculous. And that's what happened. At the end of the day, they're paying for fights that already happened. Those fights have to happen first before they can make any serious splash. So I do think that they are in a situation right now where it's going to be really hard to gain a lot of traction because the fights that so far we think we're going to get just aren't up to par yet to bring them over the top with casual fans. I was under a minute.
Yeah.
I didn't time you.
I don't.
All right.
I don't
well, I
know.
timed myself.
Let's
I
say
saw
yes.
right here. I saw.
Yeah. Let's say yes.
Good.
Right. So
Let
me tell you really quickly. Right. First, for me, I'm gonna talk from a consumer point of view. Like trying to figure out if it makes business sense for the DAZN is their problem. That's for them to just like figure this thing out. For me as a consumer, I don't think that they're doing enough because you already mentioned it, like Ness. Like we don't see enough fights. We don't see like the frequency of the fights happening with the big names. And I'm not so worried about getting the best versus the best at every single fight because that's not sustainable. That's not possible to do it from a sporting point of view. So I'm happy with like some of the top fighters fighting 3 or 4 fights, but at least one of them has to be a good fight for me. Like take another 2 or 3 like softer touches, that's fine with me. But I would like to see that not just with Canelo, AJ, and my man Ryan Garcia. I want to see that with people or other fighters from other networks. Once again, if that doesn't work financially, that's not my problem. I'm not in a boardroom. I'm not collecting those dividends at the DAZN. I'm the consumer. I'm the guy who wants to see all those fights. So they need to figure these things out. Bring in more fighters, work with different promotional outfits, and give us what we need, which is boxing on a regular basis with the names that we want to see more than once a year, more than twice a year. And that's it. That's for me.
Doomy, you got to those super chats? We got a few here. Let me refresh. Looks like TJ's back with another one.
Yo, I'm not seeing any super chats on my side, just so y'all know.
I got it. Trent Jones says, TJ, I do 2 at a time because y'all make a lot of points.
Yo, and
then he comes back, says, hell no, the DAZN offers nothing. Content is terrible.
Nothing. Listen, if it was the way that they rolled it out, guys, and I'm not being a negative Nancy, I want them to succeed. I do not want the DAZN to fail at all. But if it was the way Eddie told me, where Vergil Ortiz, I know that's not his fighter, but Eddie made us believe that fighters who fight for the DAZN know their next 3 fights in advance. So if it was that way, and they could be telling us, Vergil say, oh, I want to fight Keith Thurman. You know you can't fight Keith Thurman. You know you can't fight Danny Garcia. Stop the bullshit. Tell me who you really fighting and when. But they didn't because they don't know. And they don't have enough. Like, you think a million people going to sign up just because Ryan is fighting Gervonta? No, man. They needed to been giving you Ryan versus something. A Beltron, Hank Lundy, John Molina, like, bro, those are shells of themselves. Maybe not Lundy, he's still got some pop on him and snap.
Shinobi.
I got to Shinobi because I got to say my piece.
You got to.
You know what I'm saying? It was you got the DAZN, and then the main sport streamed by the DAZN or the most streamed is soccer, right? And then you got what follows, I guess, is baseball, then motorsport, then American football, and then as number 5, we fall into boxing at 22.6 million hours, right? And you compare that to soccer, 314.6 million hours. So, you know, we're not number 1. You know, we're not number 1 on their docket, and that's a fact. So we just got to understand that how do we bring more light to the sport of boxing within the app itself, within the streaming itself? I don't know, cross market, you know, have your boxers out there with soccer players. I don't know, you know, something that's going to bring more attention to the budget of boxing and and maybe, getting that budget to the point where, they can give us more. It's just, I have a real simple take on that, and it's that we're not number one on that. Boxing is not number one on any of the platforms. We're not the major sport. We're the niche, smaller sport.
But that doesn't mean the zone won't drop them. If they're bleeding, they're paying millions and millions of dollars and not converting subscribers. They can put that millions into another department.
Exactly. Let me take my rebuttal time. I agree with Doomy 100%. However, I think that the fix is more content in a different situation. They can't control the fighters in the fights. They're not the promoters. Yes, they have influence. Yes, there are things they can do, like John Skipper flying to personally see Canelo and give him the, Godfather conversation and personally see Triple G. Those things can happen, but they can't continue to happen. What they can do is hire Mario Munguia to write a script for a boxing movie that they produce, and then, hey, guess what? Boom, y'all got yourselves the next Rocky. Maybe it ends up getting nominated for a Golden Globe. Who knows? I'm not saying it doesn't. And then guess what? Now they're in a situation where they open up another market. But obviously, I'm trolling a little bit. I mean, not really if you want to give me a call. But you can do documentaries.
Hey,
you can
Louis,
do boxing.
Look, out of the 10 top events streamed in 2019, boxing had 4 of those slots. Ruiz and Joshua being the first one.
Quick.
No, but listen.
I think that's. I just want to make sure. Luis Rivera in the chat. Let me know if you're Alex Rivera's brother, because I think this is the other trainer.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that's the other trainer.
Oh yeah, the guy. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's go, champ. Let's go to Esso Acuni on the super chat. Says, question for the panel: has any fighter benefited popularity-wise by being on the zone, or have they been held back?
Held back.
That's a good question,
bro. Nobody watches the zone but us, man.
Can you say Ryan Garcia, while being on there, has had his career move in an upward direction or trajectory?
Yeah, because he got professionally edited clips from his fights, you know what I mean, to put on his social media. But if it wasn't for his social media and him putting the replay of his fight on his social media, who would know that he fought?
So you're saying DAZN is a platform for people already built, not a platform to help build people?
Not right now. But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. They have some skills with SEO, marketing. They know someone at Google. Did you see how many views the highlights have of Vergil Ortiz already?
Yes.
They do, right? They do.
The mom knockout.
Did you see the Sanisa Estrada knockout went viral? So they have some bots on their social media for sure.
No, they are media specialists. Those guys are media specialists, right? That's what they do, right? They hire like people that are very proficient at what they do in the world of media, business development. That's their bread and butter. But the thing is, I think, Ness, you mentioned it. Like you said, like you remembered exactly what Eddie said when it came with Matchroom USA, when he just signed Jacobs. When he said, you have to have those people fighting frequently, keep fresh in people's mind. I'm going to give them like 3 or 4 fights in advance and just keep them active. And for some reason, it hasn't really happened. Like that's the formula that he knows works, and that's what he's done at Matchroom in the UK. For some reason, he hasn't just quite cracked, that formula just yet in the US. The pandemic didn't help him, that's for sure. But yeah, man, that's.
I mean, the pandemic was something that was it was unforeseen. We couldn't know, and every business suffered, but. Your arch nemesis is what it seems like has become Steve from Chicago, who says, "How can Mitty comment when he doesn't have the zone?"
Oh wow, that I feel sorry for him. But I actually have the zone because the zone is like launching in the UK and has a series of beta testers, and your boy is one of them. So once again, Steve, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But we're gonna have those Bologna one day. Trust me.
Damn, I didn't know you had the beta test. That come from you doing the translating for Matchroom, doing your French translations.
I don't know how it came, but it came through.
We got Casual Bass guy says, "I'm the WBA regular interim gold super chat champ." Damn, we might use that name. We might use that name because Doomy made up some name. He's got. You don't want me to say. Look at Doomy looking at me with the. He's hitting me right now with the Superman, the bad Superman heat eyes like.
Champ E.
Yo, but that's how you get people excited. Drop little teasers.
Yeah, you're right. Somebody might want to be a contender or mandatory.
You know, yo, he hilarious though. The WBA regular interim goal. Yo, I just read that again to realize he made up his own WBA because remember the interim is one, Vergil's the goal, which is another, but he's saying he's both. He's actually three. He's the regular, the interim goal. Yo, Mastermind Super Mex in Texas says DAZN just landed BKFC, bare knuckle, whatever. What is that? What's that stand for?
Bare knuckle fighting championships.
I was gonna say breast KFC. Chicken. Right? It almost looks like KFC, right?
Big Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Big Kentucky. Yeah. Oh, they got a new Big Kentucky Fried Chicken.
But that's the thing that I don't like, really. Like them brunching out. They have to do what they have to do, right? But then just going into the bare knuckle fighting and all that that makes it sound like a small platform rather than like one of the big platforms. Like, if you want to see like bare knuckle fighting today, just go on the Fight TV and stuff like that. And I don't
but that's another $10 though, man. It's another $10. Honestly,
that's true.
I'm not mad at them for bringing bare knuckle fighting. Now I would watch the Paulie fight, right? Like when Paulie fought, he's my man.
Lobov and all that.
Yeah, he's my man, but I didn't pay for that. I wasn't gonna go watch that. That's not my thing. But if it's free on my DAZN, because I'm already a subscriber, which I paid for the year, might as well give me something. They ain't giving me no boxing.
That's true. But I think they should go like down the ESPN route. Like Mario was onto something when they're saying like, hey, just go and create like original documentary content. Like, like if you want to be like the Netflix, just go and do the Netflix originals for sport, right? Sport documentary, like similar to the 30 for 30 for on the ESPN series. Do things like that as well. That'll be very interesting, man.
I think we went.
Super chat. John Feliciano says, to me, it seems like DAZN wants to force the top fighters through the ringer like Canelo. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried forcing Canelo to fight Jacobs, Triple G, and Andrade, as well as everyone else.
Yeah, well, the fight fans expecting him to fight all those guys. That being said, let's get back on track because we definitely went off the cliff. We got to finish up with these topics, open up these phone lines. We're going to what looks like topic number 3. Vergil Ortiz scores a big knockout in the 7th round over Samuel Vargas from Canada. Vargas fought valiantly. I would still like to see him come back. Even in defeat, he did some decent body work, kept coming forward, tested Vergil the most that he could, but definitely outgunned in that fight. Man, listen, I went back and watched it outside of the live fight chat, which was horrible, by the way. That being said, but I went back and watched it on the DAZN. Damn, bro, those punches could be heard a mile away, bro.
Bro, it's like he was getting hit with a book bag.
My man, and he don't get tired. All you heard was all of Vergil's aggression, the wind from the punches, the landing on anything. It was crazy, bro. It was. I felt like it was a little more brutal watching it with the volume on.
Listen, I liked what I saw, man. Like that kid deserves all the hype, and everyone just like talking about him the way we talking about him. He showed a lot in that fight. He showed like the angles, he showed the power, he showed like the distance management, he showed the inside work. It was good, man. And again, we talk about his power and everything, and people like to say, "Oh, I want to see a clean knockout." And people that are powerful don't always just put people to sleep, especially like someone like a Vargas. Like that is tough, right? So, but the punches were hurting. You could see. You could really, really see they were damaging punches. the ref did a great job stopping it, right? Because sometimes you have to take that decision away from the corners and all that, so you save relationships like that between fighters and corner and stuff. But that was like that was a bit nasty, man. And but I'm excited. I really like Ortiz, and looking forward to see him stepping up again, man. So
you got that, Doomy?
Yeah, man. What can I say about Vergil, man? As soon as he stepped into the scene. I was talking about
the super chat from TJ that said, I super chat and pay $15 a month Patreon. Only get DAZN for certain fights. Content is king. And social media doesn't convert subs. They need to hire TBV. I second that. They should just hire us.
That's it.
Go for it, Dooms.
Now, Vergil Ortiz is definitely a heavy hitter, bro. I was impressed again because a guy like damn, I just caught a blank. But a guy like damn, somebody save me here. What's
Vargas? Samuel Vargas.
Samuel Vargas. Yeah, I was gonna say Morales. I don't know why I had that name in my head, but Vargas.
The shots he took, man. He
Morales. He took shots, but he reacted well to them. Ness mentioned that he has some good body work. I seen that once Vergil was, getting really aggressive, he would duck under and just kind of, pop those shots up the middle in an uppercut to the body. He was really digging and trying. He gave Vergil Ortiz some trouble, but you guys saw what it was, man. Vergil Ortiz is a monster. When he gets into his aggressive rampage. And it's not like a chaotic rampage. He's really focused aggression. He really, really knows how to finish a guy.
He missed a lot, though, man.
Yeah, but you see, right? You see how he missed, but it's not like his shots were so off balanced when he missed.
No, but that's fine.
The return was right on the guy. And I was impressed by that because I don't know if Coach Mitty could probably chime in on this, is that sometimes when a guy's unloading, he can get off balance when he misses. And what I noticed with Vergil is that he would miss, but he would still be on balance.
That's fine. My only issue is what happens when someone on the other end of that is also making you miss but hitting you back. You're going to get tired.
That's true, but let me tell you, first of all, and I'm going to say that, and I'm sure I'm going to get people just not understanding that and just talking a lot of smack, right? But when you're in the ring, it's not every shot that you throw at and you intend to hit with. Sometimes you throw shots to position someone somewhere else.
40, 70,
so that
100.
you can just hit them with the next shot. So it does a lot of that. I'm not saying that it misses deliberately, but it just positions his opponent quite well. And his balance is beautiful. He's a guy that, before I heard that, he's flat-footed and, he's a slugger and everything, but he's not at all. I've seen someone who's really balanced with every single one of his shots. I've seen someone who knows how to take that little half a step back, understand the distance. I saw someone who just switch up the angles. The only thing that I didn't necessarily like is that I saw Ortiz maybe after the second round, he decided that, you know what, I can take the power from Vargas. I'm not worried over it. So now, I want to go into a war. But in the first and second round, that wasn't that at all. He was making him miss. He was just keeping his distance. So whenever he decided that he can get hits, then he allowed that to happen. I don't like I don't like to see that. But sometimes when you're in a ring as a fighter, you decide, I'm going to stay there close. I'm going to get that shot because I don't really care. But I'm going to hit you with my 2 or 3 piece after that, right? And that's what he did a lot. And I liked him. Yeah, I'm very happy with him. What the hell?
Just to round out the card. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, just to round out the card, obviously, we got to mention Sinisa Estrada getting a knockout in 7 seconds of the first round versus Mom. And Shane Mosley looking better than I've seen him, but not as good as I wanted him to look. Got the win, and shakes the rust off. It's a pandemic fight. Hopefully him and the team can keep working together because he's got a completely new team with Coach Larry Wade as a strength and conditioning coach, and he's being trained now by Justin Gambler, the trainer of Caleb Plant. So I wanted to see better than what I saw. I wanted to see more. But look, it's their first fight, whatever. Hopefully, all good.
Yeah, look, I'll round it out real quickly as I can. I thought Hector Valdez as well was, not up to par. I mean, it wasn't that he was up to par. He was. For me, I didn't see anything, I guess, that separated him from the class that was fighting on Friday. And that's what I would say about Shane, too. Shane Mosley Jr., I've seen do really good things in the past, just not consistently. I've never seen him stay consistent through 12 or 8 or 6 or whatever. And so that's the one thing I'd like to see from him coming back. But I agree. I was looking forward to seeing a better version of Shane Mosley Jr. I think we did get to see that, but just not as many levels upwards as I would have hoped. But there's still time, I think. He isn't young, but he's not old. Definitely, able to maybe perhaps do something at this point. But for Verge, great show. Vargas he was in tough with them. You know what I mean? Sammy is a guy who, is going to go out there and fight the fight, and he did just that.
Hey, Mario.
Yes, sir.
Do you think like Vergil Ortiz is like a heavy puncher?
I'm not going to lie. I think that Friday showed that he might not be as heavy puncher as a lot of people thought. Vargas can take a punch, but unless he's facing like some sort of undersized fighter, I don't know how easily he takes them out. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely thought he had heavier hands than that. Why? Why do you ask?
No, I'm just thinking like, and again, I'm just like poking a bit of fun here. Right?
Oh, sure.
And just like, but do you think that's, who's the most powerful fighter? Someone who puts his opponent down or someone who just like hits them and just gets a TKO on their feet or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you talk about like a guy like Kelly Pavlik who, it was like a long time ago where we'd see like guys with this one punch power and more common than not, people say, oh, he's got great power. But really what he does is he beats you down for an extended amount of rounds and makes you forced to quit. I think that what we saw from Vargas, like I don't know how many people thought he had one punch knockout power at the top level, but I can say that whatever we thought he was like a strong puncher that could break you down like that. And it took him a little while to get that tree down. If he's a lumberjack
but it was
and we're measuring how hard the swing is, it took him a little longer.
I think it was game plan. He was doing more head hunting than he was doing body work. You know what I
mean? It was also a gamed opponent.
I think he's a puncher. And then he just guys like Vargas are tough. Like, and you just go to the head like this, they're gonna take shots all night and not go down, and you have to save them from themselves. But I was just making a little bit of fun. I just wanted to place like one sentence out there and tell you that like Amir Khan dropped him twice, but hey, right. let's forget that.
I mean, Danny knocked him out though, like real knockout. So
yeah. Totally. But I mean, still, I think Ortiz is a puncher.
Well, speaking of Danny, did y'all talk about what y'all think could be next for Verge?
I mean, yeah, we said how that's unrealistic.
Yeah, it's unrealistic. I don't think he needs to be in a top 10 match or maybe a top 5 match. Like, a Danny, I don't think he's ready for that fight. I mean, he wouldn't get that fight anyway right now, but I don't think he's ready for that fight yet. He's knocking on that door. You know what I mean? He'll be ready very soon, but just not yet. Anybody with some final words on the Vergil Ortiz card as a whole or where he's headed or anything like that?
I mean, the Vergil Ortiz card, just shout out to Mom. She did her best, but her best wasn't good enough.
Yo, listen.
I do my best, but my best wasn't good enough.
The commentator said lamb versus lion. He came. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yo, Ness said, she started the fight in this position and ended the fight on her back in the same position. Bro, it was exactly like that.
It was sad, bro.
It was sad.
Yo, the fact that it's going viral and it's being like pardoned. It's like, yo, the video's going viral, so let's just ignore that this person wasn't a fighter. That was a made-up record.
Oh,
definitely.
It was a made-up record, but I think some people just get lost, right? And they say, it happened because it's female boxing. But no, there are some guys that go in there with made-up records also, man. Like, and we see that,
Bro, I've never seen anyone fight like that woman, male or female.
Listen,
she literally just stood in the Irish position and waited for the shots.
She was scared. She didn't know what she was there for. We all saw it, like we know, right? So whatever her record was is definitely a made-up record, or not on that level whatsoever. Like, but I've seen that with male fights too. And who's that kid? Like, I think there was like a card. One guy, like I think it was a Maurice Hooker card. And anyway, I'm gonna find that fight, right, and just show you some dudes that did exactly the same thing, man.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Man.
I don't even know how I don't even know how she got in there, man. She got a 5-0 and 5 KO record. Who were you knocking out?
Listen, she rematched someone that she knocked out.
Who you knocking out?
She never knocked no one out. The way she held the glove, she never knocked no one out. That's what I'm saying. It was made up, man. She never knocked no one out.
They can do that. Like, see if those fights were in, like, I don't know, fights in Mexico, fights in Dominican Republic.
I was looking at her from across the street. I mean, from across the ring. Like, I'm gonna get the fastest knockout.
Like, all she did was knock out peanut butter at the PTA as a choice for kids with peanut allergy.
But that tells you that, records and opponent don't necessarily matter, right? Because those kind of like highlight reel knockouts, that's what brings the casual to it. That's what gets you the 1.4 million and whatever. So us as hardcore, we're always going to tell you, oh, but did you see who she knocked out? The guy who doesn't know any better would like it. He would want to see her again and say, yeah, that's what happened. So
definitely.
Well, at least she walked out still okay. Hopefully she's all right, and she still brought the check home. So shout out to you, Mom.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. Well, if everybody's good on that one, we will introduce a real quick note. This is a very quick one.
The fact that she looked like a real mom, like you could tell all in the corner of her eyes, the old age, she had makeup on and
she's eyeliner. Like, I gotta go home and do home schooling.
She had eyeliner on. She was there to get bodied.
No, but she didn't have the experience not to get knocked out, because even if you came to get a check or whatever, they hit you once, you take a knee or whatever. You don't take like a 6-7 piece combo and just get unconscious. You just like go down.
She had a belt too. That's right. I forgot they had a little belt in her corner.
What's that? Champion Baker?
Listen, like whoever she was, they did well in terms of like, at least giving her like the proper kits, man. Like they made you believe that she could fight. Look at the way she came out with the shorts.
Fighting grannies.
I never believed it.
Customized.
No,
she come out with the customized shorts.
Yeah, Mom.
Like, everything was good. Never. But like, hey, it's not someone they took off the street like with their trainers.
Who told her to put Mom on her shorts?
Doggy, I never believed the accident. We did a lot of fights. I immediately said it, bro. You could see it in her face. She wasn't a fighter, man. Her shoes was brand new. It was so many signs.
She had no crease on that.
So many signs, bro. She had eyeliner. Like, who does their makeup to go to a fight? No, I'm done with Mom. But shout out to Mom, because, she did her thing. We got a few super chats. We got...
Let the truth be heard. Says, get an interview with Mom. We need to hear the story.
And B-Lo says, don't forget Robert Garcia wasn't in the corner for Vergil Ortiz, and he still did that. We got Gregory.
Donovan. I would pay to see Ennis versus Ortiz.
That'll never happen.
So would I, champ.
Especially no time soon.
Yo, Ennis is in the,
Listen, Oscar's already making money from Vergil. They haven't made a dime from Ennis. He hasn't packed a stadium, a arena, a high school. Like, they ain't putting him in with Vergil yet. How? I mean, it's going to be a lot of money that DAZN paying then. That's the only way.
Only way, yeah. Marioski.
We got another super chat, I think. I guess not. I thought I seen something there. But, Mario, we done? Where we at?
We better shot against
Crawford. So the next is, what's his next move, Mitty? Vergil's next move.
Oh, all right.
Where does he go now?
You on the clock.
I don't know, to be honest, but like his next move has to be carry on a trajectory, man. I think he's got a good trajectory. He got us even more excited now with having like a name like Vargas. I don't want to necessarily throw him in like straight away with another big name, but just like someone similar to Vargas with like a decent record and was a bit past it. And then after that, yeah, maybe just throw him in with like the Jaron Ennis, if that's the guy that everyone wants to see him like pitted against and say who's the real deal, or who else at 147? I mean, like Ennis should be good in 2-3 fights. Like have the fight against Ennis, and let's see where it goes after that. So that's really what I want to see.
Who got a belt? Who got a belt at that? You know what I'm saying? Do you throw him in there into a championship fight? There's only
no. You can build that. You can build that up.
Do you throw him in there with a number one guy? I think he's ready, man. Samuel Vargas, he showed that he's still a player. You know what I mean? He didn't look worn out. He just got overwhelmed by a stronger, more ferocious fighter. I think that Vergil Ortiz he can step up, man. He can step up. He can step up to fight one of the top 5. Why not? Give him that shot. You got a lot of young guys right now chasing greatness. I mean, Golden Boys is always going to be reserved in how fast they move him. But from what I'm seeing, man, he's ready. He's ready for a shot. He wants it now. It's not the traditional route probably, but Samuel Vargas, he showed me Vargas showed me enough good things in there of himself and the way he was boxing that would have gave a lot of other guys problems.
That's it, champ. That's it. I would say Ray Robinson's next. Everyone else is busy. There's no one really that Ortiz could face. He's already number 2 in the WBO and number 8 in the WBC. He's just got to wait. He's got to let things manifest. But in the meantime, the only available name is Ray Robinson. I can't think of a better name. It would be wishing, like, oh, maybe he could fight Khan and things like that, but that'll never happen. You know what I mean? Like realistic, because Ennis is on Showtime with a Showtime deal. He's on an undercard of a scheduled fight. Ennis is unrealistic. They're not letting him walk the same way they didn't let Gervonta Davis walk for $8 million versus Tevin Farmer. They didn't let Charlo walk for $8 million versus Andre. So it's not going to happen. We need to just stop lying to ourselves. I would say Ray Robinson. That's the only name I can see. If he could somehow get Maurice Hooker, I guess, and then he gets to shine because Hooker's a 140, not a true welterweight, so he'll get the shine. But look, Hooker's over there with Bud, and maybe he won't shine. I don't know. That's it for me.
Cheer.
Mario?
You're on mute, Mario.
My bad. I was on mute. My bad. I gave mine at the beginning because I went to the bathroom, so I was completely out of the sync. So my bad. I already went.
Cool.
I'm good.
Next up is
like Rashidi. Then we had that before, right? So
no way.
He's not ready. He's been injured, and they probably will make it because they don't.
I mean, eventually, but not
trainer
next.
said he's ready, right? We spoke to the trainer. He said, "Yeah, no problem."
Yeah, no, they want it definitely. I'm not saying
because
that they don't
want
want
a
it.
shot,
I'm saying that.
But they're probably also going to think that it's a payday. And is Ortiz Ellis a payday at this point? I don't know, but. No. Next on the docket is
it's a quick note.
What's a better shot? Who does Ortiz have a better shot against in your eyes, Mitty? 30 seconds. Crawford or Spence?
Ooh, I'm gonna say Spence because again, like style-wise, I think like Spence is gonna hold his feet like a bit longer in front of him, so he's not gonna have to go looking for Spence, and maybe he can drag him into a fight where it's going to be a shootout, and he seems to like that type of fights. And like whereas Crawford is probably going to be a bit more tricky, right? He can switch like from orthodox to southpaw. He can just get on his bike a little bit and don't stay there and trade with you. until he's ready to do so, and he's always ready to do so towards the end of the fight when he gets you wherever he wants you to be. So I'm going to say stylistically, it has to be Spence, and also the fact that Spence would have been coming back from his accident. We don't know what we've got yet with him, so that's another thing that you have to factor in. But yeah, as a fighter, I would definitely always would want to pick a fight against someone like Spence, because I would have to think less. I think I'll have to be a bit less cerebral in my approach. And, there's always like one or two game plans that you have to switch up with him. Whereas with Crawford, it's going to be a chess game, not just physical. It's going to be draining mentally more than physically. And the guy is a beast, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's my answer, guys.
That was a minute as soon as I started counting. So it looks good. That looked good. I just started counting late, so it wasn't a minute, but it was a minute to me. I'll say that. Do me.
What was the exact question there, buddy?
It was the Spence Crawford for
Spence or
Ortiz.
Crawford.
Who's easier to get for him? Who's easier to beat?
Yeah.
Between the two, not easy, but you know what I'm saying.
Easier to beat.
Okay, I can go real quick.
Vergil.
I think that Spence. I agree with Mitty. I think Mitty's 100% right in this situation. I think that with Spence, because everybody said so much and made so much about his health and where he's at, I think that you could probably sucker him into the type of fight that Vergil Ortiz that would benefit Vergil Ortiz. Now, please understand, I'm not saying that Verge beats Spence, you know what I mean? But all I'm saying is that if we put a percentage of who is he more likely to beat, his percentage is higher versus Spence. But he's still the underdog in both fights. That said, I think that he'd have a better time trying to get Spence to fight the fight that would make sense for him to win versus Crawford. I think he gets schooled by Crawford.
Yeah. I mean, who does he have a better shot? When you're in that elite level, it's pretty close. I mean, we talk about it all the time on the show, and people always talk about how Errol Spence and Crawford are pretty much, on an even keel. And, some will, vouch for Earl, others will vouch for Bud. And stylistically, for Vergil, to me, a guy like Spence is obviously going to present more problems in the boxing aspect and moving around the ring and counterpunching and stuff like that. But if a guy like Spence Jr., decides to stand toe-to-toe with him, I could see Vergil Ortiz probably getting tested. And when I mean getting tested, I mean chin getting tested. And Earl could hit him with some hard shots. Earl's not going to be the one to really back up. And I'm pretty sure Vergil's going to want to, go full out, all-out onslaught like he does usually when he feels like he can hurt a guy. So being on the inside there, trying to trade shots with an Earl Spence, you could get into some trouble. And in the end, you're still in some trouble because Crawford moves around so well and he counterpunches. But I just see Earl being a little more durable. So in that aspect, I'd probably say he has a better shot versus Crawford. If he can land hard shots on Crawford, I think he can hurt Crawford.
Well said. Well said. I like that argument for sure. So we're going to go on to a real quick note. This isn't part of the things. It's just an idea I had that we sprinkle Actually, Ness had this idea. Sprinkling in notes throughout topics. And we're going to make this 1 minute, and we're going to be very strict to this. Lucas Matthysse recently came out because his name had been thrown around last month about a possible fight with several guys. I don't even know who at this point. But he's come out and said retirement is final. Hosts, 1 minute. What's your favorite Matthysse fight and or moment? Doomy, we'll start with you.
I say that I can remember off the top, Lamont Peterson. That was a pretty good fight. I thought Lamont Peterson was going to give him a lot more trouble. Lamont being the boxer and, and being the guy that really knows how to use the ring, but he turned it into a fight, really in the pocket, short hooks, and he was able to put away Lamont Peterson, man. And there's a couple other fights there that are memorable. Matthysse the Machine, he was always, known for that guy that you were gonna have a fight with. You were in a fight if you were gonna fight Matthysse. But yeah, I say Lamont Peterson.
Mitty, favorite Lucas Matthysse fight and or moment? 1 minute. You don't have to take the full minute.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember hard, right? So, I I can only remember him like vividly losing to Postal, right? So and that's not a great moment for him. So I'm struggling to think of memorable moments or just fights where I got really hyped up for and say, oh, you know what, hey, Matthysse is the real guy. I know that everyone called him like La Machina and everything. But I don't know, man. Like Victor Postol is the one that always keep coming back to me. I know he beat guys like Provodnikov and stuff like that, but I don't know. That's no my problem. Moment for him.
So, okay, I'll make mine short and sweet. Look, Lucas Matthysse, I actually was going to use the Peterson one, and Doomy was absolutely right. That was a great match. I like the Zab Judah. I remember having a poker game in my house for that fight, and we all stopped and watched the fight. I thought that Lucas Matthysse did enough to win. Of course, Zab Judah won. What at the time was a bit of a controversial split decision win. All judges had it 114-113. Two of them had it for Zab. So it was a close fight. But it was a fun fight to watch. They both. It was a chess game a lot of times, and it was an HBO fight if I remember correctly. And yeah, it was a good one. But much luck to Lucas Matthysse. I hope he just does whatever he's happy with. He's taking a lot of shots, so staying retired is probably a good idea. But go ahead, Ness. We got super chats.
You got Gregory Donovan says, I would pay to see Ennis versus Ortiz. Yeah, everybody, man. Everybody would love to see that fight. You got Trenton. TJ says, I'd get the zone for that Ray Robinson or Kavalaskis. Sunglasses, cool, man.
That'd be good.
Yeah, those are good fights for Vergil. Good fights for Vergil.
What was Matthysse like last fight? So what is he going on? He's retiring on a loss or something?
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao kind of.
Oh, yeah, he lost Manny Pacquiao a few years ago. Yeah, it was more in the news because he had just started talking about it.
Really quick,
yeah.
TJ says, Mitty, you said Porter is a gatekeeper. Why not suggest him?
Yeah, why not? No problem. I'll watch that and I'll enjoy it. Like, it's not like Ortiz is my brother-in-law or something. That's cool. No problem,
And Mad Bent says Spence is more difficult. Bud Chin. ...
Period.
Yeah, but there's a word for that. Mario, what is it called? It's like EPH, right? Epilepsies. I'm pronouncing it totally bad. Oh my god. Yo, what's the three words mean, Mitty? You got the Queen's English. The three periods. The three periods is a word for that.
Epilepsies.
There you go. What? Really?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
that sounds like a disease or
I mean, not epilepsy.
I'm like, huh?
No, that's epilepsy.
You're wilding right
They're
now.
They're called the three dots, right? That's what you're talking about.
Google it, bro.
Ellipses.
There you go. Something like that. I know
epilepsy.
I'm like, chill, Chizzy.
So
it's called epilepsy when you see it. So just know that.
I had to step away, so I do want to say I'm with Mad Bent for Vergil. Gamboa, Kavalaskis, even Benavidez, everybody showed us that, Bud takes shots on his chin a little bit different than other welterweights. So I would say that is the fight that is probably better for him because Earl, while he might be there in terms of style makes fights, I think that Earl could take a punch, and Porter showed us that. Earl could take a punch. Earl also can take that pressure. Crawford showed us he could take the pressure too, but the punch is different, now we got that one knockdown, which, we could say was or wasn't, but it opens up the door for vulnerability. We got the Gamboa fight. So, yeah, if you're Vergil, you want to go that way where at least – because I think Earl only showed one time vulnerability, right? Like with that chin. I remember people sending me like a video clip of like his 8th fight with somebody.
With a southpaw, got hit with a left hook.
Yeah.
Put him on Queer Street. But, you get hit. And things happen, but he finished the guy, so whatever.
So I just wanted to go back to that because I didn't get to give mine. And then in terms of Matthysse, memorable moment. Look, if we giving them credit, I mean his fight with Ruslan, right? Didn't he? I was at that fight live in Turning Stone Casino, and that fight with Ruslan Pavatnikov was bananas, and he won it. But for me, from a personal standpoint, I was Team Danny at the time that he and Danny fought. And obviously I was hardcore Danny back then. So I lived through that. So yeah, his loss is probably the best for me because it was like everybody thought he was this machine. I picked Danny. Everybody was picking against Danny. They thought he was a cherry picker. And Danny bodied my man. Then they started crying like, oh, it's because his eyes. Like, doggy, who punched him in the face? Man. Like, who made his eye like that? So, yeah, for me, is him losing, not really winning.
Okay, well, that was everybody for the Lucas Matthysse. So we have one last topic, and we gotta stick to these seconds here because we're already at the 2-hour mark, and this one could get crazy. If you look at the topic, we could probably talk for a long time with this, and we have been talking a lot on this one. But so is everybody else, and ESPN included is one of them. They've come out. They put a few questions on a post. I saw an article I got to read this weekend. Very well done. It's like basically the whole ESPN crew weighed in on it. But they discussed the Mike Tyson-Roy Jones Jr. and asked very specific questions. One of them, is the fight good for boxing? This is a question that I've been pondering on Twitter with people back and forth. And they also asked who would win the matchup in their primes if they fought each other. And they also asked what fighters deserve to be in the spotlight on the undercard. Who could get that shine? And I got 30 seconds with the 30-second rebuttal after each one. Ness, you can start it off if you want, man.
Yo, you love that sound bite. So the first question is
the fight good for boxing? Not for Mike or Roy, but for boxing.
I guess so, because you even got the new generation, like Ryan tweeting like, oh, I never got to see a pay-per-view with Mike live. So, yeah, man, Mike Tyson is nostalgic. Why wouldn't it be good for boxing? How could it be bad for boxing? I mean, it's already gotten so much attention. We've done shows on it. Like you said, all mainstream media is covering it. We're discussing ESPN, covering it. So I think it's already showing that it's good for boxing.
Awesome. Listen, I'll take my 30 seconds. I think that it's good for boxing because if you're going to these websites to see the Roy Jones, Mike Tyson coverage, then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to see, articles on Edgar Berlanga or who Roman Chocolatito's next opponent is, some more hardcore stuff. You're going to get to see talks about, Rosario and Charlo. If this gets so big that it overshadows those things, then that's what'll make it bad for boxing. If the talk becomes, oh, did they knock Canelo off the date and all this stuff, then it becomes bad. For now, it looks like it's working. It's definitely good for boxing media. The numbers have never been higher. It continues to trend. And that's my point.
The fight is good for boxing because of the clarification that they've made. They turned it into an exhibition to showcasing those two legends' skills, no decision, and it brings all the eyeballs on the sports. Like you guys said it, the more light you shine on a topic, the better people can see it, right? So more people will see boxing, so I'm happy about that. And no one will be able just to come back and have an argument to say, oh, that was there was a bad knockout, or, two old people fighting, because they took away the competitive nature of it and they just made it about an exhibition and celebrating the sport. So that's all good.
Awesome. Doomy, 30 seconds on you.
I can't even believe we actually asking that question. Is this going to be good or bad for boxing? Of course it's going to be good for boxing, man. Anything that is going to put eyes on our sport is good. And this is not in a negative light, is in a positive light. You got legends, willing to take on each other, and entertain the crowd. We're going through a pandemic. This is the type of spectacles we need during this time. We need to be entertained. So I like this, man. Got no problem with it. I think it's going to be great for boxing. And, if we're going to go into who deserves to be on the undercard and stuff like that. Oh,
no, not yet. We'll go. But you could stay on. You could keep it going. Get your 30 seconds on how would the fight happen in their primes.
Oh, in their primes, this would have never happened. Roy would have never fought Tyson, and that's one of the things that I had contention against when I heard about it. You know, more power to Roy, get the check or whatever. I'm not hating, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, I would have liked Tyson to have at least gotten the ring with a heavyweight. Shout out to Shannon the Cannon. Cheers!
Mitty, who wins in their primes?
No, I'm not gonna go down that road. In their prime, they're both in very different division. Not even one division apart. They're 3-4 division weight classes apart in their prime. So, a heavyweight in his prime as number one best in the world beats the number one best 160, 168 fighters, and that's the reason why we have weight class. So that's not a fair question. Makes no sense, and it's surprising that ESPN even puts questions like that out there.
Well, I think the point was because Roy had came out on Friday and said they were supposed to fight, and he's been actually wanting this fight.
But
I don't know if he's trolling.
It wasn't in their prime, though.
Yeah, but I think that Roy's not going to admit that not being his prime. But but listen, I'll be as imaginative as I can be. I mean, if we're going to go the pound for pound road talk, whatever, I think Mike wins. Honestly, I think that the most ferocious version of Mike versus the best version of Roy, I think Mike can win. He seemed unstoppable. That said, I think Roy's the better fighter. Like, hands down, Roy was the better fighter. I think that he accomplished things in the ring in a way that was just heads and heels above. With Mike, I don't know. I don't even want to get into this conversation. It's more than 30 seconds. I'll just say I thought Roy was the better fighter.
Yeah, so for me, I think I only got to answer the back part, which is how would they do in their prime? I think that Tyson in his prime, if we're talking about his prime, it's obviously gonna be Roy right at the Ruiz fight, right? Because he didn't even have a loss when he jumped up to heavyweight, and Tyson before jail and everything, before losses. And I still think Tyson would have won. And the only reason I'm even talking about it or thinking as if it could have been real is because it was almost real, thanks to James Prince's book. We know that. So, yeah, I mean, but yeah, a prime Tyson. We like to tell ourselves that Tyson didn't do what he should have done because of prison and how his life turned out and Robin Givens and all that stuff. Cuss died. We make excuses for our fallen heroes. So I'm going to keep making an excuse and say prime Tyson is before all the bull crap and the BS. He's still with Cuss D'Amato, so it's like, he beats Roy.
Definitely.
But
that's absolutely your
prime Tyson is like a Tyson in 1991 or something like that. People like to talk about the fight against Holyfield, and that's not Tyson in his prime.
No.
You talk about Tyson in 95 is already out of his prime. Definitely. You're talking just and Roy Jones in his prime. When is his prime? That's not when he's in heavyweight.
Let me tell you,
I broke my back.
98, 99. That's the prime from Roy Jones, man. People are crazy.
Definitely.
It's crazy.
Super chat. Big Super Mech says, I just wish the crowd was there to erupt when Mike finally comes out the tunnel for the ring walk. Would probably be the biggest reaction of the year. Hell yeah.
It's crazy that we're talking about this again because I was watching Rummy's Corner, bro, and he did I don't know, I had turned it off once my girl came in the room because I don't want to always bombard her with boxing, but I had got to maybe Mike's 10th or so fight, bro. He covered everyone. He had footage on him, not obviously the whole fight, but giving you the story of each fight. And he had good footage on each of the fights. And Mike was destroying people with that left hook in his early age, bro. That leaping left hook was out of control. It was out of control.
It was he squatted down and looped it around just so beautifully.
Floyd Patterson used to do it a lot. Custo used to teach that.
And Roy was as great as he was, and he was super agile. So, people be like, yo, Roy in his prime. And, he would have been elusive. But Roy always got hit. It ain't like he never got hit. Not hit. He would be slept.
Yeah. I mean, people get into those conversations, right? They get lost in the concept that, Roy was like a better boxer, maybe like technically. They like the elusiveness. They like all the attribute that you can apply or you should apply in certain weight class. In heavyweight, there's very different ways of defending. There's very different ways of boxing, and that becomes a different game. If you're a fan of like movement, if you're a fan of just like seeing a lot of like slipping, rolling, and then just moving out of range fast, and then you're not fan of a heavyweight. You always think that, oh, you know what, a heavyweight will lose. But the reality is that when they hit you, they're heavy. They hit you with that real power. And that's the reason why you can't do those matchups. They are real fantasies matchup, and you can't answer those questions. It's impossible.
Got TJ on the super chat says, in retrospect, was Paul KSI good for boxing? Period.
I mean,
that's a good
if
question.
the zone got to 800,000 subs, I guess so.
Well, I don't know. You can say that was good for DAZN, but I guess you could make the argument what's good for DAZN will ultimately be good for boxing.
Of course.
But
he said it's only good if coverage is on current fighters.
Yeah.
Well,
see, that's the point. That's the argument to it, and I think that there's.
But
merit
that brings
there.
us to the undercard. Who you want to see on the undercard?
I think we should all pick one fighter. I'll go first real quick. Jared Anderson. That's who I would love to see. In my opinion, he's the guy who represents everything that the American heavyweight division can be. And to see him on the undercard of one of the most polarizing athletes ever, but specifically American heavyweights, would be a really good look. Obviously, it's not realistic, but that's who I'd want.
Who? I didn't hear it.
Jared Anderson.
Big baby.
Oh,
Big baby.
Jared Anderson.
The real big baby.
Under the card of Mike Tyson, I would like.
Jones.
Damn, if I want, KSI and them are gonna get that right.
But it's asking who would you?
Who else?
Yeah, who would you want?
Yeah, I want Clay Collard, champ.
My man, yeah, bro. Why not?
I want Clay Collard. No, but seriously.
Yeah, no, I don't want any pro. I don't want any pro fighters like that.
Really?
Yeah, no, I want just like to have like, something that draws even more casual, like, all those like KSI types of Logan Paul fights. Those are the kind of fights, but I don't know any of them. If you had to ask me, I'll just say like, hey,
you don't want no high profile fighters going under a card like that, right?
No, I don't, because the older focus will be on Mike and Roy Jones, right? So the others, they'll get mentions, but they won't get shine like that. And then
so what about guys like Jared Anderson, up and coming guys?
Even then, because people will forget them. They'll say, okay, it was all about like Mike. They won't say, oh yeah, I've seen that guy.
They might not even
get introduced to them any other way. Like
they might not even show up for that though. When you get a pay-per-view, you barely see the undercard if you're not a hard.
It's still press. It's still press at the end of the day. I don't see how it could hurt. Look, Devin Haney was on the undercard of the Paul brothers fight. Okay, and I thought that was worse.
No, but if it's like
a pro
that,
being on a Mike Tyson Roy Jones
fight. Like his brother, that makes no sense. I want to see celebrities or stuff like that. Stuff like that keeps it in the spirit of like exhibition and just bringing even more eyeballs on the sport and stuff like that. Lester Gibbs versus my man from IFL. That would be like, that's the great fight, man. But
Go back to the doctor.
That's it.
Ness, what about you?
On the undercard, who would I want? Who needs to shine the most, man?
Shine. But while you think about that, Teddy B Midwest Sports Talk says, I'm late, but two things about the zone: they need to hire Lou DiBella for the U.S., and two, they should have bought and did the Contender 4 times by now.
They need to buy Lou DiBella and Salida, and let's say, now One Promotions already has something going on with Showtime, and that's how Ennis is on there. And Brandon Lee, but they needed to get all the small promoters. Get all the small promoters first, so now there's no more B-sides. If you take Thompson Boxing, then Eddie couldn't have had Daniel Roman. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get all them small promoters because that's who they're using anyway. Get all of them. Now you got the Jerry Forrest. You got Jerry Forrest. You got Stephen Big Shot Shaw. You got so many people. Yo, Appy Dabitev, Otto Weiling, Lucas Brown. You got so many. If you swallow the little promoters, you'll make the zone so much greater. it's like 3-4 small promoters out there that they can swallow right now. Give them a home. Give them dates. Force them to interact in the contract. Like, look, you gotta make fights with Eddie and Golden Boy, and they gotta make fights with you. You know? But whatever. Let's open up the phone lines, right? We done?
Yep, that was it.
We got another super chat real quick by Super Mech. Says, have Chavez Sr. do another exhibition on the undercard? Well, like just have a bunch of legends on the same card type of thing?
Like that's the spirit.
You don't think that would get boring, that novelty? Right? That it would waste the novelty before the main event?
No, but that's the spirit of the card, right? That,
you're bringing like, that'll be nice. Maybe Chavez Oscar, since Oscar talking about coming back.
Yeah,
I would love it.
Or even Shadow.
Yeah,
right?
I think Chavez Senior take Oscar out right about now.
Yeah, those names are what we want. Like or maybe like Shadow, even bring the champ, find him someone, and just have exhibitions or have ex-legend stuff. Right. Anyway.
Call us.
These calls are brought to you by El Camino Electrical Services, experts in electric vehicle charging stations. For consultations and turnkey installation, visit us at elcaminoelectricalservices.com.
Remember to rate us 5 stars on iTunes.
Subscribe to youtube.com/theboxingvoice for the latest and greatest interviews with your favorite fighters.
Let me see here. Before we open up the phone line, let me just give you what we got on the schedule so far. Monday, looks like we got Herman Salcido, the trainer of Jaime Abolera, and he's going to be taking on Chris Colbert on a PBC card on Showtime. Also, he is the trainer of Carlos Negron, the heavyweight. Also, the trainer of Luis Ortiz, the heavyweight, and others. And that is Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. If you haven't already dropped your question for Mr. Salcido, go ahead and do so at our Patreon page at patreon.com/theboxingvoice. Also on Tuesday morning, we have Barry Hunter, the trainer of Franchon Cruz and the trainer of Isaac Dogbe and others. But he just had Isaac Dogbe in the ring looking real good on Top Rank. So we got him scheduled for 9:30. Wednesday, we got at 9:30 a.m. Carlos Negron, the heavyweight, with PBC. And then at 11 a.m., we got Chris Congo, the welterweight out of the United Kingdom, who's facing Luther Clay in not too long from now. And then that's it for right now. We still got to get some other people I'm waiting on. But, yeah, that's all we got for now. If you haven't already dropped your question for those guests, you can find the respected posts for each guest on patreon.com/theboxingvoice. Let me get on out to James. Is this James? Mario, you there?
Yep.
What? Let me refresh maybe before I even ask you. And you haven't. Hook me up on Blog
Did you play
Talk.
the sponsor?
I got you.
I did. We're going to King Amin, Essex. What up?
Just like the king is what I mean. The king is what I mean.
Yo, TBV, what's good, fellas?
What up?
Yo, I ain't even really catch most of the fights this weekend. I had a hectic weekend. Real quick, it ain't even like super serious, but we was talking about it last night, man. Like I got I'm looking at this fight. Well, whatever Luke Campbell does, Ryan Garcia. Like he got to get in the ring against somebody. When somebody says you have to fight this. Somebody that's supposed to be on your side says you're supposed to be, earn your respect if you fight this fight. That's just business talk. And what I mean by that is y'all was never friends in the first place. You looking at this man to be your friend. He's your promoter. If you do good business together, it'll enhance the friendship. But he ain't your uncle. He might kiss your mother on the cheek, but that ain't your friend. So you just got to take the business for what it is. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much my call. Yo, if anybody else could get their hands on it, shout out to that Ghost of Leroy OG. Shit is crazy, yo. I don't know if they put Leroy Ashes in it or what. But it's some shit I got. Nah, listen. Last night I was on the call. I was crazy, yo. Crazy.
What is it? What is it? I didn't get that.
Ghost of Leroy OG.
What is that?
That's insane.
It's a strain. Real quick, we got a 5-star review coming from Dennis in Florida by way of Tampa. He says, my boxing sanctuary. I'm a long-time listener, and this is a 5-star review on iTunes. So if you want to be like Dennis and drop a 5-star review and let the world know how much you love the show, go ahead and do that because it helps us grow, keeps us number one. I am a long-time listener since this show had 34,000 followers. We are over 125,000. Not yet, Dennis, but thanks for speaking it into existence. If you are looking for a one-stop boxing channel to cover all things boxing, welcome. You have arrived. This show gives the boxing fans a voice and isn't a channel of regurgitation of news. You can call in and give your opinion and get heard. The best place for interviews also. Join us, Dennis, Tampa, Florida. Thank you, Dennis. So, looks like we got E in Philly. What up? Yo, E, I never get that. I'm eventually get it down pat. But I always see the Texas number and can never relate it to you.
That's all right. Let me get an extra 30 for that. Like, no. Hey,
for sure.
The Ryan Luke Campbell fight. I like that fight, man. You know what I mean? I don't know all the politics and everything that's going on with him and Oscar, man. But I'm gonna tell you, man, honestly, I got a lot of respect. Even though I know he did some uncool stuff in the past, but I got a lot of respect for Oscar, man, because he was one of the few fighters that when he stepped away from the game to whatever degree, you know what I mean, got involved in promoting. And I think a lot of other fighters, including Floyd, that got in promoting, you got to say that Oscar paved the way for that because he was the only one who was really, and from what I know, is really, really successful at it as a fighter and really took it to another level. So, you know what I mean, I do mess with Oscar on that tip. You know what I'm saying? Vergil Ortiz, I like him. I want to see that fight with Campbell. And I think it would be a good gauge because for those who still got questions about Bud or don't even like Bud, I think that'd be a good, you know what I mean, a good gauging, fight for Vergil. You know what I mean? And, man, shout out to DAZN, the Top Rank, man. They giving us fights. Man, it might be everything that we want, man, but we getting them. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy, bro. I'm telling you, all this stuff that's going on, I'm really thankful. And I'm signed up for the year with DAZN and with Top Rank. I went on and gave them that $60-something. You can't beat that. Come on, man. For boxing fans, $5 a month? Please. Shout out to TBV. Thanks.
I hear you. Damn, $60 Top Rank 1. I'm tight, man. I thought I had the app, man. I thought I had it because I've been signing in with my provider, my cable provider, all this time. And then yesterday,
but those were ESPN fights.
Yeah, yesterday was like, nah, champ, sign in with your ESPN. I'm like, bro, I am signing in. Yeah, nah, they want that bread over there, but they ain't not. I found the fight on YouTube. I'm not paying for Top Rank app until it's a real fight. There's no way I'm gonna just be paying fine.
Well, it's the ESPN app, and you could get it bundled with the Disney Plus app and the Hulu app, which is how I have it.
I don't even do Hulu. Like, what's on Hulu?
Yeah, I feel you.
I got Hulu.
There's some cool stuff on Hulu.
I've been hearing. Good. I've been hearing they starting to come up like kind of like the way Netflix was, because 10 years ago Netflix wasn't the shit. They was like DVDs.
They got Good Doctor.
Damn, yo, really, yo, we was just at 115,090 82, I said. Now we at 87. Come on, dog. Like, we lost 5? Really? Really? I would really like to get to 115,100 before the show's out. Just saying. Brandon Cincinnati, what up?
What's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I ain't watched none of the fights yesterday. Today's actually my birthday. I turned 30 today, so wish you boy a
Happy birthday, brother.
Champ. Happy birthday,
Sapo
man.
Verde, campeón.
Blessed to be alive for another one, champ.
Yeah, appreciate it. But as far as the question you had about the fight I'm looking forward to the most is probably the Jamel and Rosario fight. You know, it's 3 titles on the line. Both guys coming off big wins, so it's got the makings of a great fight. Most underrated is probably the Lubin and Gachet. You know, 154 like my favorite division, so they always create great fights. Another couple other ones to look out for is the Malik Hawkins and Sabril Matthysse. I forgot what card it's on, but that should be a good, back and forth war. Both guys like to come forward and let the hands go. And what's that? Kujatillo and Sergey Lipinets. I ain't really looking forward to it, but anytime PBC and Top Rank willing to work together, I'm happy, man, because they just keep opening the doors for it to keep happening. So that's when I'm glad they was able to make it as well. Other than that, man, y'all have a good night, brothers.
All right. They trying to send a dude Crawford way, man. By Quadratilla and Lipinets fighting. That's what that is. It is good to see them work together, though, man.
Yep.
We got King Born Brooklyn. What up?
Yo, y'all hear me?
We hear you.
Hey, yo, check it. First of all, yo, happy born day to Brandon Maurice. You know, hope you see many more birthdays, man. Yo, let's go to Juggy. Joe Joyce, the Juggernaut. Juggy. He gonna knock out Daniel DuBois. It's coming. Now, let's get to Vergil Ortiz. Look, man. He threw mad hands at Sammy Vargas, but I don't think he got that one punch knockout power. He'll beat you up. He'll scuff you up. You know what I mean? All right. We ain't gonna get Boots Ennis. Give me Sebastian Famella for him. Give me Rashidi Ellis for him. Give me Ungas for him. And yo, he called out Keith Thurman and he called out Danny Garcia. That Keith Thurman and Vergil Ortiz would be very interesting. And for that DAZN, listen, man, DAZN was good. The first month they came out, they charging too much and they ain't giving nobody no fights. You heard? They charging too much and they ain't giving nobody no fights. And yo, Ryan Garcia, just knock out Campbell and keep it moving. You got to fight somebody, man. Stop hiding. We don't want to see you blindfolded, throwing that speed bag, whatever. We ain't feeling that. Hey, yo, Mitty, you know what the Terradome is? You know what the Terradome is? That's the back chat. You hear me, Mitty? And yo, for that mom fight, I could have got my girl. Stonebone could have got his girl. Randy could have got his wife. Yo, Ness could have got his girl. Everybody in the back chat could have got his girl, wife, whatever. Yo, that woman didn't even throw not one punch. Mom didn't even throw one punch. And they trying to call it like that whole thing was whack. And for Mike Tyson, listen, man, give me Shannon Briggs for the undercard versus Evander Holyfield. I'm out. Peace.
Hey, all right. CYP, what up?
What's up? Yo. I want to run something by people because I respect Mike. I think as a man, Mike Tyson's one of the most feared, most dangerous men that God has ever created. But in that boxing ring, that man is overrated. I go hard on Cesar Chavez with facts. I go hard on Mike Tyson with facts. I ain't biased, yo. I keep it real. This Buster Douglas was a 42-1 underdog. Let me put that in perspective. AJ versus Ruiz was 10-1. Oliver McCall versus my man Lennox Lewis 5-1. 42-1. Let me tell you something, man. If you're great, you don't have bad days, but you ain't gonna let no underdog of that nature embarrass you. He beat the dog shit out of him. Let's be real. Michael Jordan flu game. Derek Jeter still scored when he hurt his ankle. It's too many other ways to go with legends that when if adversity hit, they still came through and shine. They did not let the underdogs treat them that way. Mike Tyson is a ferocious man. He's exciting and he allowed people to control him. He wasn't outspoken, and when he did speak, he sounded like a damn idiot and he said dumb stuff and made people laugh. That's why y'all like him. But the truth of the matter is, Lennox Lewis beat that ass, and Van Holyfield beat that ass, and that's not the point. The point is, Buster Douglas will always live as the underdog who beat the guy who everybody was afraid of. And usually when that happens, that's called exposure. If Andy Ruiz exposed AJ, which he did slightly, then you got to admit that Buster Douglas exposed this man. You say, well, he was going through stuff. 42-1, it don't matter what you're going through. 42-1, that's a cakewalk for you. Let me tell you something. Buster Douglas' biggest win before that was Oliver McCall 5 years before Oliver McCall beat Lennox Lewis. 5 years before. Oliver McCall had 16 fights. That was his best win. The dude was, I ain't gonna say he was trash, but he was a nobody. And he beat the dog shit out of Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson did not rematch that man. Mike Tyson didn't go to jail right after that. He didn't rematch that man. He didn't offer that man a rematch. Because the truth of the matter is, Buster Douglas is the man who exposed Mike Tyson for being nothing more than an intimidating dude. If you ain't afraid of that dude, and you got heart, you have a big chance of beating Mike Tyson. I'm not saying Mike Tyson ain't tough. I'm not saying Mike Tyson ain't crazy. But I'm telling you, if you got heart, Mike Tyson is that bully that if you stand up to him and punch him right in his mouth, and you don't back up, Mike Tyson don't know what to do with you.
CYP.
Yeah, he might bite you in the ear. Go ahead.
So, are you saying that you would have picked Roy in his prime over Mike in his prime?
But if you're talking about a heavyweight versus a super middleweight, like why would I do that? I would never pick no guy. I would never pick a guy who weighs 200-some pounds versus a guy at 168 ever. But Roy Jones is greater than Mike Tyson. There is no B-hops. There are no James Tonys on Mike Tyson's resume. Like, those two dudes are top 25 all-time boxers, and Roy Jones beat them both. Like, Mike Tyson don't even compare to Roy Jones. Let's keep it real.
That was a good call. And he got a good point. Tyson don't have that quality win, the quality of wins of Roy. But I thought we had said, Mitty, you had seconded. I thought you was right. I thought Roy was undefeated when he moved up to fight John Ruiz.
No, I mean, it wasn't. The first defeat from Roy is not a proper defeat. It's against Montel Griffin. I believe it's, and it was at 160, I believe, if not 168. But that was a DQ. Like, so he was beating on dude. Dude took a knee, and then he just hit him whilst he was on the knee. On the knee. So he got a DQ. He rematched that straight away and got the win, right? But I mean, Roy at heavyweight is not Roy in his prime. And Roy, before just moving up to like light heavyweights and before that, he doesn't really have a loss, right? So that we can't just say that Griffin loss is a real loss. It's like a DQ that he avenged, and But man, come on, CYP is right? Then I said it before, you can't really just like have those kind of like matchup like between like a great heavyweight and a great 168 fighter, right? So it's always going to be the heavyweight that's going to win when both of them are great because of the weight difference and all that. But anyway, that was a good call. I agree.
I still gotta say, you made some great points. He's not the Roy Jones of old at that weight. When we remember Roy Jones, it was that 160-pound guy. It wasn't no heavyweight. You know what I mean? So Mike Tyson hasn't been in the ring 15 years. Yeah, cool. You guys can get that, but it's still a heavyweight. It's still a ferocious puncher in there with you, and it's not like he's going up against another young guy or a young guy. He's going up against an old guy too. So, You know, it's match for match, punch for punch. Mike Tyson's gonna have way more power. And how much speed can Jones Jr. Show in this fight? Like, how much speed at that age is going to be enough speed to keep a guy like Mike Tyson off you, or for you to keep him at bay and kind of play with it? You know what I'm saying? You get in there with Mike, you're going to hit Mike. Mike's going to hit you back, and Mike's going to hit you a lot harder.
I don't know, man. I mean, we'll get to see it, like, you know, and like I said before, I'm happy they made that.
You know what's gonna be that reaction that you just had? That's the reaction that makes me think I'm worried if this turns out to be so much of an exhibition that it leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. You know,
that's what it's gonna be. And people are gonna come out. I'm gonna tell you, people are gonna come out after this and just complain. They say, "Oh, how come they didn't try to go hard? How come the ref broke up the action when things were getting too ugly?" Because that's what you're getting. They need to tell people that's what you're gonna get. But all the stuff that they're doing now, the promo and hyping it up, it's normal. You want to hype up an event to get the buys, right? But when you get sold like something, like, I don't know, when someone, you know, gives you like a bag of crap and tell you that it was caviar, I'm telling you that you're gonna complain. So that's what people are gonna tell you after the event. They're gonna complain.
So you want to see a ferocious
no, I don't.
Mike?
I don't.
No, like, let's say if you had an option to see a fight, obviously you don't want to see an exhibition match that's gonna look.
I'm cool. I'm cool with the exhibition because I know what I'm getting, right? And I know that, and I'm cool with it. I'm just saying, like, other people, like casual fans that are tuning in.
Do you think the public is getting that?
Yeah, that's what they get to a ringer.
You say like they're gonna be shocked when they get an exhibition, then it's gonna be like nothing but negativity.
I think so. I think a lot of the casual, especially the younger generation. The younger generation is what worries me the most. They're the one that are vocal, right? You see how Ryan is complaining. I think it's a younger generation problem, and they're going to shit on this. I think that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna say, "What the hell are those two old dudes doing in exhibition and all that?" You know, Dad, you told me this guy was ferocious, man. He looks like an old cat, man. He's not a tiger, man. You know what I mean? Hey, I think it's gonna be that kind of reaction. Hopefully not, right? So, you know, but you can't lie to people. You have to tell them the truth, especially when there's like.
You got me thinking about it now, though.
When there's money involved, like if you think about it, just go and buy like a car. They tell you that's a sports car.
I'm in the back of my head for some reason. Oh, message. Go right ahead, Champy.
We got a ringer. Josh in North Carolina, talk to us.
What's up, TBV?
Chilling.
Yo.
What's good with y'all, man? It's a good show today, as always. Yeah, man, I came here to cook a little bit. First, I want to get the Joe Joyce slow ass. I see what y'all saying and why y'all think he'll beat DuBois, but then again, I don't see it. I think DuBois, man, DuBois fight like he should fight, man. I think he should tear this dude apart, man. Real talk. I mean, Joe Joyce, don't get me wrong, he was giving dude some good body punches and all that, but my God, bro, he is so slow. That junk
That's
crazy.
the story all the time.
Hey, that's all you can say on him. And I'm going to tell you something, too. You know what Mike Tyson and Roy Jones proved this week? You know what they proved, TVV? That Canelo is no superstar. You know why? They moving Canelo off his Independence Day. Are you kidding me? You're supposed to be a superstar and you can't fight on your date because two old dudes come back to fight.
Say what?
Say what? Well, he a superstar, though. Well, I'll let other people argue that point. I'm not even going to go there.
He was actually already going to be moved off the date, so.
Well, technically, what you mean technically, Mario?
They had already been saying they were going to play, that they were going to take it to October. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh. Okay, if you say so, Mario. If you say so. Anyway.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Hey, man. So what?
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. My bad. I heard you say if you say so, but I didn't hear what you said after that.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. If you say so, you know. That's what you gonna say that, Mario, because I know you protected Canelo, but that's all good, man. But I wanted to get that in though, y'all. Salute y'all, man. I love this show, man. I'm out.
Chill. Mary had to step in.
But he's right. But one thing though, that slow, criticism of like Joe Joyce really bothers me. Like, because I'm not gonna say he's not slow because that's what it looks like. But do you really think that the other people that he's been in a ring with, like let's say Brian Jennings, right? He's a seasoned pro. Like, dude is so slow. Like, how did he get beat by him? Like, and when you're in there with him, it's a different story. And also,
I'm gonna put you to sleep.
And also, like, do you think like speed at a heavyweight level plays that much of a role when you're fighting in close, right? When you're just delivering short punches. There's not many of them that just like throw like short combination to the body and all that. And the Juggernaut does that. It walks you down. It just closes the distance. And that's why, I fear for Dubois, right? So Dubois is going to take away that distance away from him. Dubois loves to be at, on the outside or at mid-range where he just like pops his nice stiff jab, comes back with the right hand. With Joe Joyce, he's going to be forced to work on the inside and shorten his punches. And we're going to have to see if he has that in his game, right? And if he doesn't, then it's going to be bad for him.
Real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you a young fella. And he comes from the Magnolia.
Ooh. I'm an audio sound.
You straight?
Alright. Look, bro. See, bro, we've been had this debate a while ago on the back channel, bro. See why P down bad for bringing that shit to the public, bro. See, bro, when we had looked at the whole resume of Mike, bro, it kind of, man, I'm gonna just let y'all. I ain't gonna even do it to him, bro. Y'all just do it yourself one day on this, bro. You'll see what I'm talking about, bro. He got like 100 fights in 1 year. Like, damn near you did. I'm talking about he running through them pies, bro. bro. Cherry
went on a pie run.
Did Peach. Yeah, he went on a fire pie run, dog. I mean, his story. But, we gonna get off of that, bro. Joe Joyce. I ain't gonna lie, admit it, bro. Joe Joyce slow it, but one thing I got it, you right about some kind of way he do land that punch. You know what I'm saying? Every now and then, bro. But that shit hard to watch sometimes, bro. But he is a big guy, though. He a big solid dude, and he's sturdy, and he got a chin, so that's always a tough fight. And he might not have one punch knockout power. He got a little pop. He got some pop. So I mean, I don't know. I kind of want to lean towards him, but I might go with Dubois in that fight, man. And with Ryan Garcia, I mean, how much you think he gonna get, man? If he knock dude out like first, second round, like he gonna get a real big pay raise. I think De La Hoya trying to ride this little dude out to his contract up.
I don't know how much he's making, like in terms of money, especially if he beats him. Like, but yeah, I'm sure his stock will rise even further, right? But if he knocks Campbell out first, second round, like you say, he has to get credit. He has to get credit, and with credit should come like the money as well, right? But I don't know. I can't answer your question in terms of how much more of a race he gets.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pay jump. It's gonna be a pay jump, definitely. It is hard though, like Minnie says, to gauge that.
He worth $1 million after that?
It all depends who he fight.
It depends on who he's fighting. Like
Devin Haney. Let's say Devin Haney.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think as well.
Hell
if it's Devin Haney, if it's Loma and all that, yeah, definitely.
1.5, huh? If you fight Devin Haney next, then look.
Yo, what are you doing? What are you trying to do here? Are you his manager or something? You getting a percentage or something? Why are you asking those questions?
Cut
I will say this though. If he fight Haney, he definitely gonna get a mil or over, and Haney is too, because Haney already getting a mil for average people. So yeah,
He should. He should.
Natural Wiz, Canada.
We're gonna marinate that.
Yeah, as for the fight for Joyce, yeah, man, he's pretty slow, but I guess he's a big boy, so but I'll have to see what that happens with Dubois. I don't know, but I would have to assume that Dubois is going to be the favorite in that fight.
I'm gonna put him to sleep.
For the Luke Campbell though, who else is Garcia supposed to fight? Like, was there someone else that he was going to fight to be like that one fight that's going to say, all right, he's going to be a problem, or he's putting everybody on notice? Like, I'm just like, I'm now thinking, I'm like, I know it's a pandemic and whatnot, but I'm also looking at like, okay, with his limited options, Campbell did fight Lomachenko. I believe that went the distance. Can Ryan get him out of there? I mean, I think Luke Campbell's taller than him, right? So I guess Ryan will have to see his inside game. I mean, he does have that left hook, but still, if he beats him in under 12, okay, yeah, I think that might put him on notice, at least to the general public, right? But for the hardcores, probably not. They want to see more, right? But for Tyson, yeah, man, that I like the idea of the Legends League. I really do. And my biggest fear is that they're going to do better numbers than the guys that are current right now. Because I did watch that First Take interview and whatnot, and it actually made me sit back and wonder, like, yo, this might be, the case. But I mean, it's also good for boxing, right? Get those casual viewers in there, and then once they see, the Jake Pauls and then maybe Nate Robinson or whatever, we might get some more fresh eyes. More fresh eyes want to see the Charlo fight, and et cetera, right? And the Showtime fight. So I believe it's a good thing for boxing overall. That's my call.
All right, thanks for calling in. We going out to Sony. What up?
Hey, my bad, TBV. What's up?
What up?
Nothing much. Hey, yo, as always, respect to the show. Seeing if I could keep up with the topics. As far as the Daniel DuBois and Joe Joyce, their interim fights. If y'all could do me a favor and give me a reminder who Daniel DuBois is supposed to fight in his tune-up, because I'm thinking after what I seen out of Joy or heard out of Joe Joyce, I'm starting to flip sides, and I think I'm gonna give him the edge over DuBois, and that wasn't my first guess. As far as Ryan Garcia,
Eric Pfeiffer, that's the guy Daniel DuBois fighting.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll see what he do in that fight. Let's see if I go back to him. But right now, I got Joe Joyce and their fight. As far as like Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia, until Ryan Garcia gets out of that contract, I just think Ryan Garcia is stuck between a rock and a hard place, man. I feel for that dude right there, because I feel like he's just in like a who was that fighter that was in a bad contract a couple years ago? I'm sorry.
He was. Yeah, he had some trouble in his contract. He waited out for a while.
Yeah, I think Ryan Garcia is going through something similar to that, man. I feel bad for that dude, but hopefully he makes it out through in the end and still at a young age and still tear up shit in the ring. You know what I'm saying? And as far as the Tyson and Roy Jones. Man, one of the few times I got to disagree with Mr. CYP. I think, even though Mike Tyson did, take that hard defeat to Buster Douglas, he was just going through so much in his life at that time to where I just think he looked past a Douglas. And if you look past the fighter, like AJ looked past Ruiz, you can get caught. Like they say in the heavyweight division, anybody can get caught on a night. And what happened to Mike Tyson's career afterwards, I feel like had nothing to do with Douglas, more to the fact of what happened to him as far as with his legal troubles and going to prison. And I think that's what caused his downfall, not Douglas. And so I gotta somewhat disagree with Mr. CYP on that. One of the few times I've ever done that, you know. And if I do got a couple minutes, I hate to give a little sidebar here. Just wanted to know if Mr. Ness Heyman can give his thoughts on the early challenges that was sent to him for Boxing Bars 11. Holla.
I've already replied to you. Stone Bone Boxing.
What up? What up?
Chee.
Oh yeah, man. I'm tired of Oscar and Ryan. I don't know if they just doing this for a drama show or what. Like, it's just getting stale. Like Oscar, I always say like I didn't have a problem when Floyd was working with Devin and Tank was feeling a little jealous. I didn't have a problem with that personally. But as a businessman, you got to see how other young people who think like Tank and think like other young guys, how that's going to affect them. So how other guys who think like Ryan and think like a little bit more independent, they looking at Oscar like, dude, I'm not signing with you unless you're giving me cash up front. And Golden Boy ain't really giving nobody no big cash, so he gonna struggle getting some people. So he just needs to shut up and let Ryan do what he supposed to do. And if he can beat up on Luke Campbell, hardcore boxing fans will give him a little bit of credit. But he still got to do something over here against a respectable opponent. Give him an old Mexican fighter. Give him somebody, you know what I mean? Give him like who the new Salita. Give him one of them guys. Give him, like you said, a Molina. Give him an old rugged guy that's just gonna come there and he gonna have to punch him to hurt him. He ain't gonna just be able to hit him and the dude gonna fall. That's what Oscar needs to get Ryan or shut up because I'm tired of hearing it. And Joe Joyce and Daniel DuBois got draw written all over it. When that fight happened, I'm betting a draw. That seemed like a draw. Then once I found out that who I think it was Coach Mitty or some of the UK guys was telling us about how his dad put him on testosterone or some type of thing as a kid because he didn't think he was gonna be big enough and stuff. So I'm like, okay, so maybe Dubois muscles ain't as real as they natural as they could be. So that's a draw, man. Joe Joyce is an old fighter. That's a draw all day. And I don't got the DAZN, but one of my employees had it, so we watched it at the dispensary, smoked some weed, and it was that he's a good fighter. He got a strong jab, but he short arm stuff. So when he was short arming, old boy was able to step in and do body work. If he tried that against like a Earl Spence type, Earl is gonna break his ribs or something. Like he was fighting against a guy that don't got the power to hurt him or the skill to set him into a trap, and he was still getting maneuvered in there. Dude was doing some veteran moves, so he is a good fighter, but he ain't ready for. Don't get him Everson Lubin or J Rock, putting him in there with a Crawford who's gonna make him run into something, or he ain't even ready for like a Danny. Danny counterpunching probably will break his jaw. You know what I mean? Danny gonna wait for him to throw the jab, just so Danny gonna either paw it, take it to the face, and catch and shoot, and that's gonna be night for him. So y'all better walk him like Oscar doing, walk him slowly. I'll catch y'all in the morning.
Yo, let me clarify something real quick. I don't know nothing about daddy and testosterone and stuff like that. So that must have been someone else telling you that stuff. Anyway, it's just trying to make that clear. Man. I don't know none of that information. So that don't come from me, but who knows? I haven't even heard that, but it might be true.
So what? They hit him with they hit him with peds when he was like 12.
I don't know, man. It sounded like, his daddy was trying to build someone in a lab and just making sure he's got a killer. I don't know.
Damn, they building them in the lab now.
Yeah, but I don't know. That came from who? I'm not sure. Someone in the back channel, I guess. But
you can't win.
All right.
Well, that is everyone. Let me check over. That is everyone. NesGTO.
I'm gonna put you to sleep.
Instagram and Twitter at NesGTO. Catch us on the next one, which will be mañana, and that'll be at 9 a.m. Peace.
At Martin McGee on Twitter. At Martin McGee on Instagram. Catch us.
I mean, we could hear you if you were on the mic.
My bad. Peace. At Martin McGee on Twitter. At Martin McGee on Instagram. Peace.
Yo, this is Coach Mide. I really enjoyed it. I hope to catch you soon. So speak soon.
And you can catch me on IG, Alex_Doomsday_LAINEZ, TikTok, same handle, Twitter, Alex_TBV. And don't forget, guys, to hit that notification bell. And right next to it is the subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button. Let a D be at the end of that word, and you can be welcome to the family. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hit those thumbs up buttons. And for the 8 sad souls who hit the thumbs down, I hope your day gets better. And for all trolls and bots, winter is coming.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're still at 115,087, which means we lost 5 subscribers during this podcast. So you should be ashamed of yourselves. Good night.
It's michelada time.